All right. Welcome everyone to Adventurers Wanted. I'm your guest host, probably a different face than what you're used to for tonight. I am Malcolm, the Gentleman Game Master. I am excited to be here. Thank you, the Initiative Order, for having me. Tonight, we're going to have a fun little adventure. But first, I'm going to just go ahead and kind of get some of the preliminaries out of the way, turn everything over to Bree.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'll keep it short and sweet, hopefully, like my character. We want to say thank you to all of our awesome sponsors that are continuing to support the Initiative Order and our community with some awesome discount codes. So, first and foremost, Session Zero Clothing, awesome tabletop clothing. I'm not rocking mine right now, but I have some of their gear and it's really well made. If you use code TIO10 for the Initiative Order 10, you get 10% off your purchase. A special holiday surprise courtesy of Brian with RPG & Co. We also are getting a discount code from them as well, TIO15, for 15% off. We also have TIO15 as a code through Norse Foundry. Awesome, amazing, stunning dice from them. Definitely recommend checking that out. And last but not least, Roaming Player Gear has a 20% discount code for all Initiative Order members and watchers. If you use Carnaby20 at checkout, it'll be 20% off. But anyways, back to you, Malcolm.
Awesome. Thank you, Bree, and thank you for having me again. I really appreciate it. I think it's an awesome thing that you guys do here at the Initiative Order. And I'll just tell you a little bit about myself really quick. I'm, like I said, short and sweet, Malcolm, Gentleman Game Master. You can find me at gentleman_game master on Instagram. I'm a professional dungeon master. I love the game. I run a group called on Meetup called the D&D Experience Point. And there we have a place where players can kind of connect themselves with dungeon masters like myself who kind of go above and beyond to try to create this cinematic experience in D&D. The way I see the game is we are a cinema house for the mind, is what we call it. So you find your movie that you want to be a part of and you join us. With that, I'd like to introduce my wonderful players for tonight, and I will go by who I see kind of going left to right here. And so I'm going to just go ahead and start with Brian.
Hi. So I am a tiefling barbarian in Wild Magic Path. My name is Ufizzi Firenezi, and I'll just let you learn more as we start.
I like that name. By the way, Brian, is there anything you want to tell us about your social media, what you do?
Yeah, so I
love yourself.
Yeah, so I run RPG & Company, which is work pretty much just based on my designs. I've been in advertising for, it's my day job. Awesome. But I do kind of marketing and branding within the gaming industry because I love working with awesome creative people. And I've got mostly apparel. There are some game accessories in the works. Check it out.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And we will go ahead and move to Bree, which I think whoever's watched the channel probably already knows how wonderful Bree's stuff is, but go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Bree. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at BriannaFlame. Today I am going to be playing Juniper. She is a Lightfoot halfling College of Glamour bard. And like I said, hopefully short and sweet.
Nice. Very cool, very cool. Next, we have Jim.
Hey, I'm Epic Jim on Instagram, and I'm playing Tim Horton, a Mountain Dwarf fighter. And yeah, I'm just a D&D enthusiast, and just have my treasure hoard that I sit on like a dragon. And
you are like a big dragon. Jim, go to his Instagram if you don't already follow Jim. He has one of the best, he calls it the Fungeon. It's one of the best dungeon rooms I've ever seen.
Oh, thanks,
so man. It's great, man. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Next, I have Jackie.
Hi, my name is Jackie, and I'm going to play an elf sorcerer named Bulma, short for Segs Whiffman. And yeah, I am here to party. Malcolm actually introduced me to the game, and we actually used to work in an office together and play D&D once a week with our little coworker group, and we had a good game going for almost 3-4 years, Mal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been just playing. Malcolm he's been my DM, my dungeon master for the last 4 years, and I love telling people that. And Yes, I am naked under this robe.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Last but not least, definitely we'll have Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm going to be playing Neni, just to confuse everyone. She's a Lightfoot halfling rogue, and yeah, I've been playing for about a year. I found Malcolm on Meetup, and that's what got me into this whole crazy world, and it's been great.
Yep. That was kind of part of this. I wanted to bring my, some of my like Meetup players into the mix for the fun. So thank you all. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us for our holiday special. This is titled The Cold Truth. And we will go ahead and get started. But the last thing I just want to mention is tonight's music, or the little bit of music that you will hear in the background. Many of the tracks will be from L'Orchestra Cinematique. You can find them on Instagram or iTunes or whatever. They were gracious enough to allow me to use their wonderful music, which really just is very evocative and adds to that kind of Christmas holiday kind of flair that this needs to be, but with that epic feeling. So wanted to mention them. But other than that, how are you guys feeling? You guys ready to go?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
I am excited. Well, tonight's story takes place in the land of Faerun, but far north, even far more north than those the 10 towns that you might know, the Brinchlanders and such. In a small little area, a little village built into a mountain ridgy area, a place known as Snowville. And all our party members know right now is that, for whatever reason, you're going here based on a job. And so we will get more into that. But first, I'll go ahead and share what I like to call the cold open of today's episode, which is even more appropriately titled. I call all of them cold opens, but yeah, it's even more appropriately titled for today. So with that, we will get into it. All right, I should be able to hear a little music. So we open our scene. A young boy. He sits in this small, cramped little cottage room. His dark, full eyes dance. There's a little across the flame from the candles in the room dance across his dark eyes, and the snow is slowly falling outside of the window. And he has a little calendar on the log-made wall, and the paper hanging on the calendar. He goes over with a little dipped quill pen and scratches off another day. He just marks the 23rd. It's the night of the 23rd, and tomorrow will be the eve of the feast of the winter solstice. Suddenly there's a startling little rap at the window, and he slowly walks over and opens it, and there's a dark figure kind of hunched over, and a voice says, "Hey kid." And then that shadowy figure, a face comes out. Another young boy, a bit older, by maybe 4 years. So maybe the older boy is maybe around 12 years old, and the other boy that was in the room is around 8. And this figure standing out in the cold as the snow falls says, "Hey little bro." He says, "Are you being good?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." He says, "Are you being good?" And he goes, "Of course," a bit annoyed. And he goes, "Okay, well, I brought you an early, gift." And he hands him a loaf of bread and a small sack of coins. He says, "Take those coins, take a few for yourself, make sure mom gets some, slip them here and there when she's not looking." He says, "Okay," rubs him by the hair, and he says, "I really gotta go." He goes, "Arden, can't you come in?" says the little one. "No, man, I can't do that. You know it's safer this way." And with that, they kind of share a moment. And then as he turns to go, the little one, says, "I love you, Arden." And Arden, the older brother, turns back and says, "Love you too, early, as always." And he jumps off the little ledge, slams down into the snow, and disappears into the white surroundings as we fade to white. Now, as we fade from that particular scene, we slowly begin to pick up and now fade in a new part of that same land, or that same maybe even town, as a group of adventurers are now entering Snowville. It's late in the evening. You guys pushed on through and made it maybe around 9. Most of the town's shops are closed in this small little town, but there you can see that candle lights dot many of the windows. And as you enter a small, snowy courtyard of the town, or the town square, you can see that at the center there is a fountain. The water's probably well been frozen over, and inside of it and on the ridge of that stone-based fountain, you see that people have left cookies and gingerbread men to this almost idol-like statue that hovers above, a statue of a man that almost looks like a saint. He holds a golden staff, and he has a long, like a big hat, and like a top, and his robe rolls down, and he's actually painted to be wearing red and white. Like the statue is actually painted, and you can see where the paint is starting to age, or fleck with age. You notice a few presents, not as big as the ones you see in the small window, but stacked around there also as maybe gifts or offerings of some type. And ahead of you, a light and a little door is cracked, the farthest building away from you in the town square. One of the only ones with the signs or the awnings lit says "Adventurers Wanted," with a magical spell of dancing lights kind of showing that it is still open. You guys are all cold and can't wait to get out of this, can't wait to get out of this cold and get some warmth. And as you step out of that snow or out of that wind and we see you, this is where I turn it over to our party to describe who we see. Anyone can start, or I can be like the teacher in the room and pick someone. How about Ufizzi? Let me see what, as he kind of steps out of the smoke.
So Ufizzi steps into the. Are we at a? We're entering a.
You're entering the town, and you're right there in that town square now. So you're almost, if you look in the little small screen, the thumbnail I have, or you can see that's where you are. You're entering right into that area.
Okay, so Ufizzi walks up and he carries himself with an air of confidence. He has very dark red, almost burgundy skin, 2 black horns that curve up and back over his head, that are kind of half covered in this long white hair. His eyes are a light purple, and he wears an embossed breastplate that is somewhat not rich, but somewhat fancy. And then the rest of the of his armor is embossed black leather. He also has hooves, black hooves that match his horns. And he wears a long cloak that is also like a burgundy that matches his skin, that is trimmed around the collar with white fur. And on his person, he has an assortment of hand axes on his belt, and then he carries a glaive with him that he uses kind of like a walking stick, and every once in a while, flourishes it with a spin or whatever. So he walks in and kind of looks around, again, kind of carries himself with some confidence, and kind of looks to see who's looking at him, and who he can see.
Well, you're actually all traveling together. So I imagine as you kind of flurl or twirl that little axe, the camera kind of pans over, because you guys haven't walked into the guild just yet. You're still in that little square, snow's still falling, and right beside you then is Juniper.
Perfect. So I would say for every stride that Ufizzi is taking, Juniper's taking 2 or 3. She has very, very small little legs, keeping true to the Lightfoot halfling sense. looking at her, she has longer brown hair and has deep brown eyes. And if you look closely, she has glitter just all over her face of varying colors. Although keeping with the holidays, she's putting some holly into her hair, almost distracting away from her brightly colored purple clothing. Although if you look close enough, you see that it's worn. It's not incredibly glamorous, but it's seen better days. It has some wear and tear. And she walks very, very lightly, barely leaving footprints behind her, and almost with a very, almost like a dancer movement consistently. But she'd probably be following Fizzy, looking up at him, just kind of observing around, and then her eyes get really big as she sees the presents.
And so as she sees those presents and kind of like push in on those presents and all the cookies around, right beside her is our dwarf, Tim. What's he doing?
Tim is bringing up the rear, bigger guy. He looks like one of those little kids all bundled up, like arms stuck out.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there and he's got his
Christmas story. He puts his arms down and pop back up.
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's eating donuts. Just good thing we had that 2 for Timbits. I don't think we would have made it. He's pretty out of breath. You could tell he's been huffing the whole time, and he's got this big wool helm on because he said it's too cold for real horns or metal up top. Keeps him nice and warm, and he's just got lots of like icicles hanging from his beard, and not graceful at all. He's dragging his feet and tripping, and he's more concerned about not dropping his Timbits.
So he's been bringing up the rear, making sure he's got those. Yeah, awesome. And as he's kind of doing that, we're watching him. He's eating his donuts. What's Bulma doing? And then let's see, what do we see there?
So she's just walking straight forward, straight face with RBF. People always think that she's always upset, but in reality, she's meditating with her eyes open. And every step that she takes, she has the symbols of the temple that she came from on her, represented on her body and on her face. And with every walking step, if a flashback of her past, flashes as she's trying to focus. So with every step, she's thinking of the time she ran away from home, and then another step, the time she fell into the temple's she found the temple that took her in, and another step, the people that she's killed on accident because her powers were just way too strong. So she's always trying to figure out how to control them. And at this point, with every step, she goes into happier places, but her face doesn't say anything. So she's just stone cold, just following every footstep that Ufizzi takes. And right next to her is this little one that she is very, very, very good friends with.
Nice. And then, yes, Neni.
And that little one would be me, Neni. We are unlikely friends, which I'm sure we'll get into that story later. But Neni is a cheerful halfling rogue. She actually got sent off to adventure by her parents, who did not want her to stay in their small village forever. So they kind of pushed her out and made her explore. And that's how she ran into a bunch of mischief and ended up with this motley crew.
Nice. And so as they're all, walking, before they can select, because they can see the adventurers wanted location there right before them. Is there anything that they say to each other, or that they're any back and forth before they go in, or as they go in?
Tim, do you still get some of those snacks?
Oh yes.
I'm gonna have one. I'm starving.
Hey, he's passing around, and he's got a lot. He's got a little belt with little coffees in him.
Oh, it's so cold. Ah.
I look around, not noticing Juniper stuffing her little mouth with little foods, and Neni's just next to me, and looking for any because it's pretty late in the day, I would assume. Is that what we?
Yeah, it's about 9 right now, and so most of the town is closed up. Most people are kind of like, it's cold. They're bundled up in their in their homes, but you guys are used to this, to some degree. So you decide to huff it instead of like setting up camp outside the town and, push through another few hours to get here. So you're good.
Yeah, I don't like to admit that I'm hungry or in any negative mindset. So I look over and I see the light open and I say, I think this is where we need to go. But those cookies look delicious. What are those cookies over there?
Oh, donuts, wee lass.
Ah.
Pass them around.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Juniper made them look really good. So.
Oh, pace yourself though.
Oh, really? And she chose like the 5th one.
Not conditioned.
So I lean over to Juniper, and I say, "You like those presents over there, little one? Yes?
They look pretty cool.
Perhaps maybe we can get you one after this job."
Really, you think so?
And at that moment, the door on the Adventurers Wanted guild opens, and there's a silhouette of a man standing out. Older man, kind of hunched over, but still kind of strong. You could tell that he was has a little gut, but his arms are big. Like he might have been, might have either chopped wood or done something kind of strong in his day. Bit of a bald spot, a little burly, salt and pepper beard. Hey, are you the adventurers we're waiting for? Is that you guys? He's kind of looking through this. Finally made it, yeah. Come on in. And he kind of eyes Juniper looking at those presents. He goes, not now. No presents get handed out from the fountain until the festival on the 25th, the morning. If you're around, then maybe you can get one. But usually you also have to put a present in to take a present out. Come on in. And then he says, you guys all kind of, I wonder if you guys are following, and as you walk inside, there is just a quaint little, you've seen, in terms of adventure, loggings, you've seen much larger places with more rooms. You notice that to the left, all of the kind of the wanted or the job posts, there's not very many. There happens to be one, and it's the one that you're there for. The other ones are like missing cat, missing dog, like little stuff like that. So you realize like crime isn't a big thing around here. Monsters aren't even a big, issue around here. There's a little round table, and he goes, go ahead, feel free to sit down. You guys have been traveling. You probably, I can get you some cookies and some bread. And kind of looks, and he looks at Tim. He goes, well, you seem to have that covered, but I'll get some for everyone.
I'll take some.
He goes in the back, and he brings out a couple of jugs, and he goes, well, we've got the water, and I've also got the heavy stuff, and he puts some ale on the table. That's what I'll be drinking. And he pours himself a drink, and there's a fireplace going in the corner. So how are your travels?
I wonder if we may have some hot soup also.
Hot soup.
We've been traveling for a while, and it is quite cold outside.
My chef went home at 8. But you know what? I think there's some sitting in the back. I can put a pot on right over the fire and get it warmed up for you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
So after a few moments, he gets that going for you. And when moments pass by, he's returned to the table, and he goes, well, I take it you guys have come for the job. It's worth 250 gold. Like I said, we don't even get too much need. I'm almost been put out of a job over the years just because we get so few issues. But these past 3 to 4 years have been difficult. There's been an uptick in just a lot of petty theft, constantly things, money being stolen, food going missing, things like that. And for the longest while, we've kind of tried to get used to it. The local sheriff would try to investigate where they could. But 3 days ago, things got a bit more serious when the baker, Mr. Kevin Cakeman, lost his life, unfortunately. And poor Kevin, he is God rest his soul. It was such a bundle of joy. But he was locking up late, and it looks like someone who a witness, someone who was walking by, saw what appears they heard the fighting or some tuffling, and they heard him kind of scream. And then they said they saw what appeared to be 3 or 4 figures running away down into an alley, and they look like goblins. We haven't had goblins around here for ages, but yes, and then you would think goblins would goblins actually be part of the petty theft? I don't know. I'm racking my brain, but that's what you all are here for, and that's what we're dealing with, and we want to get this situated before the 25th, because we definitely want people to feel easy. We want to be able to enjoy the festival. I constantly have to stay up all night watching those gifts out there.
That's a real shame. You said the baker died. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. And he puts a plate of like the gingerbread and bread and stuff on the table, and he goes, so this is probably going to be the last of it for a while.
Man. All right.
So, I'm sorry. What was your name? And then I use my mage hand to take one of the little cookies, and you see a cookie just float into my mouth.
Oh.
As I'm talking.
Wonderful. I'm Boris. I am Boris Torchkey. I'm the manager of the Adventurers Wanted Guild here. Others around the world are a lot nicer. And he kind of goes over to a post and kicks it back into place where it looks like it was leaning. It'll do. It'll stay out.
Boris. Goblins, you say?
Goblins.
And there's only been one death.
There's only been one death in all these years. Like I said, most of these other things have been petty theft. I thought maybe you all could come in and maybe check out maybe investigate the town. Maybe start with the bakers, with the bakery, or I don't know, unless you have other ideas, of course, being adequate adventurers and all.
What has been done so far?
Not much. We went by after Sheriff cleaned up the body and took Cakeman away, and kind of just closed up the shop after we didn't find much that led to anything there. No weapon was found. We just know that it does look like he was stabbed, skewered by maybe a small dagger.
What kinds of things have been stolen over the years?
A lot of times, a lot of things from the general store, a lot of supplies, rice, flour, sometimes baked goods, from money here and there from homes, but usually taken out right from under people's nose. But so it's weird that it's escalated now to full-blown assault on our citizens. This must be stopped.
Neni, what are your thoughts on being a little quiet?
Neni's just staring at the cookies. And she just reaches forward and grabs a gingerbread cookie and bites its head off and says, "Goblins, now that sounds exciting. Have you seen a lot of goblins around here?"
Neni, can you give me an insight check?
No.
A 9.
Okay, so you're just eating your cookies, and you asked, what was that again? If they had seen any other goblins, or?
Yeah, if they'd seen a lot of goblins around.
No, not at all. That's why the report from Miss Hatchet to say that she saw, goblins is a bit weird. And we would, if there were, we expect you probably to encounter them on your way up the mountain, but here in our village is quite strange. But the way she described them is hooded with a long hooked nose and slightly ears coming out this way and from under the hood, and sounds like goblins to me.
And who is this Miss Hatchet?
Just a local lady, lives here in the town. She kind of keeps to herself, as most do, just a normal commoner.
I say we should talk to this Miss Hatchet and see what else she knows.
I would agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. And feel free. I will say though, might be a little tough hour. She's an older lady. She's probably going to be asleep. I don't know if you want to work her, but I mean, feel free to. She lives, right down the way past the few houses, because she was probably on her way home, going to her home from when she passed by the bakery. And he walks to the front, peers out the window, and he looks and he shows you that from where you guys are at, the bakery's here. And then right down the way, or actually down this little alleyway, kind of gives you some basic directions to find her home, if that's where you're going.
And is there anybody else in town that may have more information? Perhaps the sheriff or others who have seen the perpetrators?
If I'd like to be honest, Sheriff Redfin.
I'm sorry, what is his name?
Redfin.
Redfin?
Jacob Redfin. He is a I'm gonna say this man sits on his ass most of the day, and I don't think he's gonna get much done. But yeah, I mean, if anything, we need a new, definitely sheriff town. But it's probably just come from years of him not having to do anything, so.
Boris, how often do these petty thefts occur?
I'd say, like they've been happening once every week or couple weeks, something like that.
And when was the last time?
For years, but since a few days ago, this is when we actually, money was, actually some of money was taken and coins were found in the bakery, kind of scattered on the floor, with the baker lying dead amongst his giant loaves of beautiful breads and cookies. He had just made a wonderful batch of gingerbread that are actually still there, in case he looks at Tim, like in case.
Yeah, we better take your key.
We all look at
go
Tim.
check that out.
Oh, I don't know, team.
We have to hit the bakery.
Neni
Is that your
just shoves
stomach?
more cookie in her mouth and speaks with food in her mouth. I was like, oh yeah, gotta check out that bakery.
Where
my.
does the sheriff live? Where can we find him? Question.
Yeah. Right out to the left and back this way, couple houses down. I can walk you over there. And happy to we can wake him up. He definitely he deserves to talk to the adventurers who are trying to help his town, right? But I don't know. It sounds like you have a couple of different ways to go. I mean, the bakery, going to see the sheriff, Miss Hatchet, as old as she is. What would you? You guys can have at it. And he goes, I'm willing to pay. He puts half of the money on the table. The other half, if you can actually get this solved before the 25th. It's late on the 23rd now. Hoping that you are the folks to do it. You're actually the first to actually come. So looks around and he goes, as good as any.
Well, I suggest that we talk to Miss Hatchet, to the sheriff, and probably, by the looks of all of you devouring the cookies, we should probably go to the bakery first, yes?
We won't have to
I
wake
agree.
anyone up at the bakery.
I mean, there could be more cookies left over, and we would not want them to go stale now, would we?
That would be the real crime and the murder.
And so we watch as you all kind of gather your things, and literally right across the courtyard as you approach this, you approach the bakery. The two front doors have been locked, and Boris goes over with you and unkeys and unlocks it and cracks the door. It's a bit dark inside. He goes, well, I can actually go in, and he lights a couple, candles and sconces to light the place up. It's a bit dim. He goes, well, I mean, have at it. Take a look around. Like I said, sheriff didn't find anything, but yeah, maybe you guys can. And as you kind of pan around the room, you can see it looks like a wonderful little shop. To the right, there's a table where people would grab their things and check out. There's a couple of tables and chairs towards the back of the room where people would enjoy the delicious foods that were made here. And then the back to the left side of the room, there seems to be like an oven back there that's off, and you see all the supplies and kitchen utensils around. And right behind that kind of customer counter, there is a large table full of like cookies, like look like large little gingerbread men. They're like full size. You can pick them up and you can eat one cookie for well, I don't know how Tim would probably like take it pretty quick, but it's like one cookie's like maybe 5 of the ones you have now. And then there's a set of stairs that go up to maybe like an upper level, maybe where this gentleman lived.
Are there any is the floor clean? Is it dusty? Are there any, is anything out of place? Things knocked over, or, is there flour all over the floor with little footprints in it, or?
Give me, as you start to look around, Ufizzi, can you give me an investigations check?
Not one of my strong points. Although I did roll a 19.
Okay. And so you walk around and things look a bit disheveled, like things look normal in the main area, but back behind the counter, you notice that a couple chairs are knocked over and smashed. You start to realize this is where something happened. You see a rolling pin that's on the ground that could have been used in a fight, and you do see a bit of smattering of footprints. And what you quickly are able to surmise is that probably the sheriff or whoever was there walked all through this stuff, so it's a bit muddied. But with that 19, what you do notice is every here and there are a few little smaller footprints, the size that could be goblins. Give me another investigation check. And anyone else while he's doing this can also, can jump in and say what you're doing, maybe what you're looking at.
That one is a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. And so you're kind of stumped and you're still looking around. Start like looking under the table where the cookies are. And just as much as you seem like you were onto something, you've hit a dead end. What's everyone else doing?
Tim kind of pushes him out of the way and drags his feet through the flour and other footprints too, right to the cookies.
And so as you're standing over this table, Tim, wonderful, beautiful little gingerbread men lying all over the table like they were freshly made. They hopefully, with gingerbreads, they probably are still, pretty edible, but they're there. Now, it's kind of weird. They would be cookies from the scene of a crime, but they are still cookies. And you see them there before you. What's Neni up to? What's
I imagine, are there cabinets and things like all around? She is just opening every cabinet and looking inside every cabinet because it's totally on her level.
As she's doing that, going in and like all the low cabinets. Neni, can you give me a investigation check?
Dirty 20.
Ooh, okay. So as she's like looking, what would she be looking for?
Probably signs. I think on the surface, she's looking for like signs of things out of place, or like signs of a struggle, someone who was looking into like be cooking and then immediately turned to an attacker. But really, she's also secretly looking for treats.
Yep. Yeah. And what's funny is that she's going through, but she gets to the third cabinet and she opens it, and it's a little bit higher than her. On the top shelf of this particular cabinet is a big jar of candy canes.
That looks exciting and enticing.
Does she take them, or does she?
I think she would kind of try to and do it very clumsily.
Yeah, and so she kind of like she has to almost like step up on one of the the shelves and reach up, and she's like, "Eesh," and her little fingers are right there, and then she taps the jar, and it goes, and it falls towards her face, and she's like, "Ah!" And as she falls backwards, the jar comes smashing down, and she like covers her face so she doesn't get hurt or anything, but she's lying on her back. There's glass everywhere, and all these little candy canes are now scattered on the floor. And as she's lying kind of like flat like this, she looks over, and there under the cabinet is something dark with something about so big, a long hooked nose looks like on it, like a mask.
I'm going to reach for that.
So you all like, I mean, what does everybody do? You're all surprised as you hear her fall. And then as she's standing up, dusting herself off, she's holding this, it's almost like a paper mache, in two eye sockets, and then almost like a long, like almost like a plague mask, but it has like two little, almost like ear areas on it too. It looks like a goblin.
I'm gonna put it up on my face and go, "Woo!"
I'm looking over at her and I'm just shaking my head. And I was actually about to try and catch the candy canes because I was watching her watching it all happen. And I look at her and I said, "Huh." It's like, "Well, Boris, I think we found your goblin."
And some treats.
So I look at the group and I look at Juniper and I say, "What do you think of this?"
Kind of look like a goblin face to me. Are you okay, Neni?
Sure matches the description to me. And she's just kind of like bobbing her head with it on and just being extra goofy.
Is she okay, Bulma? Did she hit her head, do you think?
May I see the mask, Neni? I will give it back to you.
She kind of hobbles over to him and is like, "Certainly."
And I do a closer inspection of it, turning it around in my hand. Are there any distinguishing features? Does it have a little strap? Is it carved? Is it, like,
It
what's
has
it
a little
made
strap,
of?
like where you'd put something, like where you tie it under your chin, and then one tie towards the back. It's dark green, and it's like almost like it's been painted to kind of have a dark green complexion. And other than that, it's made well enough, surprisingly sturdy, but a bit crude. It's not super fine polished. It doesn't look like an actual. I would say for someone in the dark, it would definitely have a very sinister. If Neni or Juniper put this on and jumped out, you'd be like, oh shit, it's a goblin. that is, and that's probably what you would surmise is its effect or what someone was going for.
So it's definitely like arts and crafts time, not like intricate.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said the body was.
I hand it back to Neni.
And you said the body was found outside.
And as you always also hear that thunder, it seems to crash a bit louder. And in addition, I'm definitely going to go back to you, Bulma, but you do hear that, and then the wind kind of starts to pick up outside as well, kind of beat the windows a bit harder. Now back to you, Bulma. What were you? Go ahead and continue.
Oh, I was going to ask. Speaking of outside, the body was found outside.
The body was found indoors. It was actually found here inside.
Oh, that for so. But I decide for some reason to just, because of hearing that thunder, and I wanted to see what was going on outside. And
is what you're saying? Got it.
Yeah. And I look at Boris. I said, "Does this happen often?" As I hear the storm, I assume so.
And camera pans over and reveals that Boris never left, even though I probably thought he did. And he's like standing there, and he's like, he kind of looks out the window and kind of looks back to you. He goes, "Yeah, this happens. Always on the 23rd. It's normal. There's definitely going to be a blizzard tonight. So whatever you need to do."
Did you say always on the 23rd there is a storm?
There is always a storm on the 23rd in this town. and it is not always a good night on the 23rd.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
I'm sorry. I just don't try to. I don't know. I don't like to air our dirty laundry.
Well, I think perhaps it would help us to know these things if we are to solve this mystery of yours.
I understand. If you insist, I'll tell you a bit of a story. But I want to remind you, knowing that you're adventurers, I don't want to get you sidetracked from what you came here for. Ufizzi, do you want to give me a persuasion check?
Sure.
Five.
You see 5. Okay, so that is not that he won't give you information. That's kind of like just inform me of how he's feeling about what to share with you all. He goes, well, here's what I can tell you. A blizzard does roll in every year around this time. You see, the story goes that when this town was founded, it was haunted by a winter demon for years and years. It came at this time during the winter solstice to snatch the souls of children. He kind of like leans in a bit more. He goes, and there was an abbot, a kind of lord of light here at the church at the time. And he did a ceremony to banish the demon, but it was strong and he was only able to weaken it. The conflict was so tough that it cost the man his life. And now, in death, he became the saint. You probably saw his statue out in the courtyard. You see, the town now leaves cookies to the demigod, Father Winter, as we call him. Because yearly during now, what has happened over the course of time by us doing that, now only certain children are taken. And with that, they are taken by this demon. I hate to even say his name, but he's known only as the Krampus. He kind of just looks around and kind of starts to fiddle and moves one of the candles over, kind of walks the room with it, gives you guys a chance to like let that sink in. And what do you say as he's stopped?
Wait, so for a town that really doesn't have much crime, you kind of forgot to mention the initial children.
Yeah. It's because, well, you see, in cultures, when something is not considered a crime. It's just how we exist. It's a truce. It's a compromise. Our bad children, or all of our children, because at the end of the day, the thing that does this is it's unfightable. You can't beat the Krampus. Look at you. You're 3 feet tall, and she's even smaller. And I get it. You're a big, scary tiefling, but let's just let's not get into fairy tales here. I mean,
Well, first of all, don't judge
And
them
you'd
on-
have to pay us a lot more than. Oh. Just saying, you'd have to pay us more than 200 loonies to kill a demon.
and that's quite fair, Tim. And unfortunately, I couldn't afford it if I wanted to. So you're right.
So you
Ufizzi,
say the
were saying-
children are taken?
Only a few. We'll probably lose 1, 2 tonight. I know. You're looking at me like I'm a madman.
I am, and I apologize. It was foreign to me. I do not understand how it sounds. But let the children be taken and do nothing about it.
I understand. I think if you lived here, if you understood, you would know that this town has been through many harsh times and many of us has died trying to stop this. I think we've all become complacent because there is no stopping what the truce that has been made. What would you have me do? What would you do?
Stop him.
And destroy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I get a perception check from everyone?
Natural 20.
Natural 1.
7.
Nice. So,
As he says this, I kind of immediately envision myself, you know, on the mound of human skulls, and my attention just wanders.
so it's almost like Spidey senses tingle, Horton, and you hear something move on the table where the cookies are, and as you whip your head and your horns turn almost in slow motion, you see one of those little ginger men is standing and throws a knife, and you need to give me an initiative check and beat the if you fail, you're the only one. If you fail, if you don't beat the gingerbread man score, it will hit Boris.
Oh no.
The cookies have risen up.
19 plus 1.
Oh shoot. So if
I was watching those gingerbread.
how would you intercept this? What would you do to try to stop it?
Probably throw my body
Yeah.
in the way.
All right. So I'm gonna make the attack for the knife, and we'll see if it hits your AC. Does 21 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's an adept gingerbread man.
I know.
so right into like most of it's in your armor, but a bit of it scars you on the inside as that dagger hits Jim in the shoulder. Everyone roll initiative as you watch all these little decrepit ginger men start to rise off of the table. Give me 1 second as I.
Want me to roll again for initiative?
Oh no! You can keep your initial roll.
Oh, that's awesome.
Looks so cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Light should readjust. Put this one back here. So you're probably closer to where the ginger men are. And I'll have Boris here. And alrighty. So
Is that dude in the back really that big?
yes. So one of them is growing massively, very quickly.
That must be the
And,
souffle gingerbread.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get every. I'm gonna ask for them in order. Give me 1 second here. Go back to my. I should have this set up. That I did. Okay. Okay, so Bulma, what'd you get?
I got a 17.
Okay, and Ufizzi,
I got a natural 20, so that's a 23.
you got it. Cool, man. Clean. And then Juniper.
7.
Okay. All right. A little shocked by the coming of the ginger man. Tim? And I know, Tim, you had the 19 plus 1, so 20.
Yeah.
30, 20. Yep. Neni?
Also 20. Dirty
Ooh.
20 though.
Okay, you guys are quick to react. And I think you beat these little gingerbread men to the jump. So,
We were all
As-
looking at them cookies.
yeah, so as you all spin around here in this scenario, in whatever way, Nini's probably on that table there. And Boris is like, in shock as he kind of takes a step. He almost seems like he's like sliding to go, you know, towards the double doors here back into the street. But yes, as this is happening right now, Ufizzi, you are up.
Okay. So I immediately go into like battle stance, blade in hand. But I also have a quick toss feat. So I take one of the hand axes off my belt, and literally just as I take it off my belt, I fling it off towards the cookie that with the dagger at. And as part of that feat, unsheathing that is part of the attack.
Okay.
So, you want me to roll the hit?
What weapon are you using?
I'm throwing a hand axe.
Oh, you're throwing the hand axe. Okay.
Yes. Oy. That would be a 10.
All right, a 10 and a 10 will, I believe it will hit this little guy. Oh no, they're fast. So like you throw it and it's like, and the one that just threw the knife kind of cartwheels off of the table back behind you and scatters like a little Chucky like under the table. Even though he hasn't moved yet, like he kind of like moves away, missing you. Are you missing him? Is there anything bonus otherwise that you want to do, or did you already? Is your turn?
I have to double check to see if that quick toss is a reaction or not, but I don't want to do that now. So I'm just
while you're checking that, I'll move to whoever up next, and I'll move to Neni. So this is all happening very quickly. One knife is just lodged into Tim. We turn, and now Ufizzi has responded and missed as well, and now it is Neni's turn.
Neni is going to duck under that table and go for that closest one right in the middle with a short sword.
This, like the one right here with the little double axes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, so kind of move Tim just out of the way just so you can see him. So she just comes scattering from under the table directly towards this thing. Also, I didn't mention everyone, if you want to, you can, if you're not used to Zoom, you can pin the board by going into speaker view and then using the 3 little dots in the corner to click on the picture of it, and then or the window of it, and click pin.
Quick note, finish up here, but that was a bonus action, in fact. So
okay, so you do have something left, or
yeah, but finish up this one first.
Okay, go for it.
A 16 to hit.
That will hit.
That is. And that is 6 points of piercing damage.
Okay. And as you cut into this little guy, how do you kill this thing? How does she finish this little guy off?
She is just gonna just like she bit the cookie earlier and she bit that head off, she's just gonna cleave his head off and say, "Guys are so delicious."
And so she's like chops him up right in half, and down he goes, and his 2 little hatchets fall against the ground. Now, as this is happening, is there anything else in bonus action? Otherwise, we would move to someone, or we can go back to finishing up Ufizzi if you had something there.
And I kind of step under that upper platform, whatever that is, and kind of duck behind the others.
It's actually just the back of the room because this is the upper
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you want to go under here.
Yeah, I just want to kind of hide.
Okay, so she
Not
runs
that would do much.
Hide action.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, and I think I'll make one overall perception for all of those little guys, and give me a stealth roll, which I think you'll beat them because they're not too preoccupied as you go. So I'm just gonna say you're kind of hitting somewhere right off screen there.
That's a 24 for stealth.
Oh yeah, you're completely hidden.
Gone.
And so going back to Ufizzi, what was that?
Okay, so after I quick toss this axe out, I kind of, again with a bit of a flourish, whip my cape back and attempt to leap over the counter there to attack the guy with the spiked mace. with
Yep.
my glaive.
So I imagine you kind of like leap over this counter here, actually land on that side.
Yeah, you want a dex check?
It's difficult terrain. I don't think you would fail at that. No.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and then I'll take the glaive, spin it over my head, and try to lop its head off. That is a 14 to hit.
A hit. Yeah, that hits. Yeah.
Okay. That is 7 points of slashing damage.
How do you kill that guy?
Pretty much the same way, just like from shoulder to his cookie groin, just
just cleave him all the way down.
Yeah.
He is just, and it kind of cleaves down, and then the brittle nature of the cookie just kind of shatters on the ground, and just like little pieces that you guys are like starting to step all over as you break them.
And as I do that, I say, "Ha-ha, Cookie Man! I have defeated you."
And that Cookie Man is gone before he can do anything. We then move from Ufizzi. Neni has gone. Now it is Tim's. Tim, you're standing right there. And there's one right in front of you with this huge lollipop kind of like moving towards you.
Yeah, so Tim kind of hikes up his pants and grabs his battle axe out and, damn hosers, I eat you, you don't eat me. Walks up to him and goes a great axe hit him.
Go for it.
Does a 9 hit?
A 9 will miss. So your huge axe goes, he sidesteps like, ha-ha! And you wham, your axe bites into the floor, almost gets stuck for a second. Do you have a second attack or?
No.
No, okay. Anything else you want to do?
No, that's everything.
So you just moved up. You're attacking him. He kind of sidesteps, like I said. As Tim is having this, we kind of camera pan over, and there's Bulma. I have her right here beside one of the tables. What does she do?
I assume that Tim was going to take care of that one, and my eyes just lock on to that big gingerbread man ahead of me.
Yeah.
And
And somehow he
you
got
just see-
upstairs, like flipped upstairs to the rafters, and then he started growing.
oh, and he's in our vision, right? We can
Yeah,
see him.
he's like on the second. It's like a little loft. He's like a little loft right above. Yeah.
Okay. And I just see like, that cookie just growing, and I can't help but smell the ginger growing stronger and stronger. And so Bulma has her hands to her side, and she kind of just whips them out. But there's no weapons except for her hands, and you just see like glowing light coming from her right hand, and I'm just gonna throw a firebolt to the giant. Yep.
Make your ranged spell attack with your fire.
To the gingerbread man.
Ooh, that'll smell good.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a 9, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna miss.
That's 9 total.
Yeah.
So she fires that shot. Fire goes, and he kind of like moves his head, and it boom, it blows up. There's like a little nightstand with little liqueurs and stuff, maybe that the baker had, and that all gets smashed to bits. And it kind of starts smoking a bit right behind on the window, like it could go up in flames any seconds. And you can see that you kind of singe the side of his face, and it's kind of like little black and smoky, like air goes. Rah. And then, Bulma, is there anything you want to, in terms of moving or repositioning yourself? Is there anything else you want to do?
No, I'm just upset, and the smell of ginger just, engulfs my nose, and I just keep my eyes on. I'm just staying there. I keep my eyes on the giant gingerbread man.
Nice. It is the gingerbread man's turn now, and so the one that's directly in front of Tim just takes his lollipop, turns it flat, and goes to smack him in the face with it. And that's going to be 13. I don't think that's going to do it. So Tim jobs out of the way, and he smashes it against the ground. And so part of the candy, the little sucker, snaps off. But what's left is this jagged part now. And he like pulls it back like, ha ha! And he starts to like come at you very quickly, pushing, trying to stab you with it. He's done with his attack, and then this huge one just kind of jumps down, slams down on the ground there, and of course, being closest, kind of moves in on Ufizzi. You can see he doesn't have the greatest range of motion. His hands kind of move a bit like this, like a boxer. That's not that good. And he will make his attack. And that's going to be... So he's berserking. So he's just kind of raging. So he...
He's just some angry cookies.
Yeah. 23.
Yes, that will indeed hit.
All right. So then we need to give you the damage, and it's going to be bludgeoning. 5 bludgeoning damage. So actually not that much. As he kind of slaps you, like you felt harder. You thought it was going to be a lot heavier, and you realize you're actually being hit by a magical cookie. So you're just like wham. But it's heavier than you thought, but not as maybe effective.
On that, I look at the cookie and I say, "You are trying my patience, Cookie Man." And I raise my finger, and from it is this purple eldritch flame, and I hellish rebuke him.
Oh, hellish rebuke! All right, go for it. You can hear him like kind of mocking you.
So that is a spell attack, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's a dex. He needs to make a dex save.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
DC 11.
He got an 11, so meets it, beats it. So does he take any half, or does he take no damage? Take hellish. And so while you're doing that, whether we decide if he takes damage or not, he does have a second attack, and so he does make that second attack.
Okay.
And that's gonna be another 24 on that one. So that one's gonna hit, and then another bludgeoning. He kind of slaps you the first time, you hellish rebuke him, and then he tries to hit you again. This one scoring 12 bludgeoning damage. And you guys watch him hit Ufizzi this time. Ufizzi, like he grabs Ufizzi and he starts dragging his head like across the counter, like in through like pastries and like like whatever, like the little magical register. He like slams his head into the register and then turns around, looks at everybody else, and goes, "All
right. So as I cast this hellish rebuke, I just have a snarl on my face, and the internal fire is starting to grow. Takes not half of 9.
Half of 9. Okay. Take 4 down, and so he takes in the damage, and he's a bit singed and but keeps moving just fine. At this moment, camera whips over to where little Juniper is, and standing, and you're watching from the other side of the counter this stuff happen to Ufizzi. What do you do?
Ooh, okay. So having noticed that Boris had also sort of like shirked off, you try to make herself as tall as possible and like place herself between them, be like, "I'll protect you." And then she looks over at the big cookie and says, "I usually crave cookies, this much is true, but now I crave violence, so I guess you'll do." And she'll cast Vicious Mockery on
awesome.
him. So if you could have a wisdom saving throw, DC is 13.
You got it. Got a 10, so that is a fail.
Yay, so he will take, let's see here, 3 points of psychic damage.
All right. So then, whatever you're like, because these things don't necessarily have like a soul, so like whatever that arcane essence that's keeping this moving, you're able to tap into it and shock it, and inside of its little head it goes, rah, and it kind of, the little like frosty made mouth starts to writhe, and then he kind of puts his hands against his head like that and takes the damage. Still up and moving there, Juniper. Anything else you'd like to do?
No, that'll be it for now.
All right. As this happens, we move into the second round now. And Tim, and Ufizzi, you are up.
Okay. Does he look like? I mean, are there any crumbs coming off of him?
I mean, yeah, he's a bit. The big one, there's a couple areas where the crumbs have like fallen off, but like he doesn't look like he looks like he could still take a little bit more of a beating before he slows down.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, I look at him and I say, I am Ufizzi Firenezi. You hurt my friends. Prepare to die.
Nice.
And I'm actually going to rage because his cookies are starting to. The idea that we're being attacked by baked goods is really starting to get to me. So I'm going to go ahead and rage. And when I do that, I roll on the wild magic table to produce an effect, unless you'd like to roll.
It's a.
It is a D8, and it is a specific table for the Path of the Wild Magic Barbarian.
I roll a D8.
Yes.
I got a 5.
Okay. So whenever a creature hits me with an attack roll before my rage ends, that creature takes 1d6 force damage as part of my innate magic lashes back out at it.
Okay, nice.
And then I will attack again with my glaive.
So as this is all happening...
Oh, that's a natural 20.
Oh, there we go.
So are you doing double damage?
I just roll the dice twice.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is a 9 and a 10. So 19 plus 3 is 22, and then plus 2 for my rage.
Oh, yeah. How do you want to destroy the gingerbread brute?
So again, I do kind of the bow staff move where I spin it over my head and I just come down two-handed and literally just shatter it in half into a shower of icing and crumbs and gumdrops.
And all just falling down. And whatever he was made out of, as he cascades into the floor, like you said, in all those little pieces and gumdrops and stuff, a knife clatters against the floor. One that did not look like he wasn't holding it. It was like inside of him, and it falls on the ground. And that's there. And so as this is happening, I think who's up next is Neni, who's hidden, probably back there right behind me.
Neni's gonna pop out of her hiding spot and try and attack this last guy and just go for the legs.
Go for it, Neni. So you're going to get your sneak attack. I just misplaced your Neni. Oh, I put you behind her. Yep, so she pops out. Attacks this gun. Go for it.
It's a 15 to hit.
That's going to hit.
Okay, and sneak attack is...
You're at 2d6. Mm-hmm.
That's a 6 and a 4, so that's 10 extra points.
He is going to be dead. So
Okay. So she's just gonna go "Hi-ya!" and try and cut his little feet off so that he just topples down.
And so as he cut his feet off, he has no feet on the bottom, and he falls down and he loses his little sucker, and it scatters away from him, and he's like no, and he's it's kind of like that shot of him dragging his body no, trying to get to it as you're behind him, and as you're kind of huffing and standing over him yeah, I did that. Tim, I imagine your foot, it walks up and is standing right where the sucker is. What do you do?
I'll just pick up a piece and pop it in my mouth.
Do you finish him?
Oh yeah.
I'm not even going to have you roll how you finish the little guy.
I was gonna try to take a bite out of him.
Yeah, just eat him.
And so what's left so then you would just watch Tim just pull a chunk of his head and start biting it, and he goes and he just goes down and fades and starts to crack up and break away. At this moment, right after you guys have just finished successfully destroying all these things, and Boris is okay, I have never seen such. This is not good. This is evil. Oh no, this must be from the Krampus. This can't be. guys are interfering. This is, I don't know. And then suddenly there are screams. You hear like a scream on one side of town. Ah, not my boy. And then no, Katarina. And then Boris goes and kind of looks a bit ashamed. And he's like, it is happening. What do you all do?
I dust. Oh, go ahead. No, I would.
No, you go ahead.
That was it. So we all hear these screams. I'm dusting off gingerbread jizz off my body because it's all over the place, and I run towards the door, and I just like run out and I listen for the screams a little bit more to see where they're coming from.
So there's two different directions that they're coming from: the crying and the weeping. You can go left and get to one. You can go to right. They both sound like a combination of women and like a man, like parents who are distraught. So you heard the one to your left that was like Katarina, and that other one is like, oh, not my boy. So clearly something happening with two children in two different parts of town. And another creepy thing that you see as you step out, on every block or corner, there are just a couple of snowmen now. Like someone built them within the time you were inside, that they're just kind of all just kind of, actually none of them have arms. They just kind of creepily, like 3 large stacks of snow with 2 coals for eyes. And like you could swear that they're, kind of looking or like watching, but they don't move.
Wait, there's snowmen outside right now?
There's snowmen. And they're just scattered throughout and you look down the way, like in the courtyard, there's actually like 3 or 4 of them just in the courtyard, just standing.
Huh. Okay.
So really quick, can I, is the knife still on the floor?
Yes, it is.
I pick up the knife. I'm not going to spend time to look at it right now, so I just kind of stick it in my belt, and then if I can, without wasting too much time, I go grab my axe that missed, and I also put that back in my belt, and then I'll head towards the door.
So we're out of combat now. If you don't want to know, you can unpin your string, but you guys all kind of come together. You realize that something is definitely going on. The wind is whipping now. There's snow hitting your face. There's this dark black cloud just literally looming over this town. Boris is just visually shaken. And what are you guys doing? What are you guys saying to each other? What is next?
So where are the snowmen?
They're just kind of scattered out. So like, remember that courtyard? So if you were to imagine the courtyard around there's probably like 3 or 4 snowmen just around around that area. And then if you look down into like the alleyways and the street avenues, there's a couple sprinkled here. There's a couple sprinkled there. Almost like, vigilant like soldiers or something that are just standing around. They're not moving. They're inanimate. But who could have built snowmen that fast? It's kind of.
How far away is the fountain from us?
Literally 20, 25 feet.
And there are snowmen there.
Mm-hmm.
Can I I'm gonna see if I can detect any magic around me within.
Mm-hmm. And so as your scanner goes out, Ufizzi knows that like every single one of these things has dark magic fueling it. And I'll add that you don't quite know what they do, but yes, they are magical.
I'll turn to the group because I have a feeling since I had ran towards the door, because I may have thought with my hearing the screams were directly outside, and so that's why I had ran quickly. And I look over the screams.
They're like a couple of blocks away.
Okay, and then I notice the snowmen, and I look behind me, and I look at everybody, and I say, "What do we do? What is going on?"
Well, you said you were going to help the children, and you look back, and Boris is standing there, and you've already interfered with the truce. You might as well follow through.
Tim grabs a cookie off the counter. Let's go.
Can I make an insight check on Boris?
Ooh.
Yes, you can make an. I was actually going to also, even though I know it was very quickly, it would be a high score. I'd like Ufizzi to give me an insight check on the knife that he picked up. And while he's doing that, what's Juniper Neni doing?
I want to, if there's any way that we can discern like why those cookies suddenly came to life, that would be what Neni is trying to figure out.
Neni, as you're looking around, give me an investigation check. So Ufizzi, what'd you get?
So the first roll for the knife, I got a 13 total.
Okay. As you quickly pick the knife up, almost like if there was a shot of you stuffing it in your bag, you kind of stop for a second, halt, look, and realize that there's dried blood on the knife. And then you're like, you shove it away. Yeah.
Okay, and then the second one for Boris was a 6.
Okay, and so inside for Boris, what are you trying to discern? Do you think he's lying? What are you looking for?
I don't know. I just feel like something is off, and that he's hiding more than he's letting on of what is going on in this town.
I think if that is the case, you can't seem to put your finger on what it is, if it is even that. Could just be telling the truth, and just could be this guy. Neni, what did you get?
Got a natural 20, so a total for 24.
So Neni's kind of looking around, and she starts to do kind of like that beautiful mind thing, right? And starts to like calculate and like look at the room, and she's like, "Oh, this is what," And what you realize is that like, remember Boris told you like where the coins were found. And you realize like the shuffling of the feet. Whoever was in here, what you start to see in your mind, almost like you start to replay it. The baker was coming into shop in the middle of the night, or waking up in the middle of the night, coming down the stairs. The intruders were there. What Neni sees is those little goblins hunch, and one of them go to run. Some of them run, and one of them gets into an altercation with the butcher. They gotta go back and forth, and actually one of the goblins gets cut. And you hear kind of like a quick little hiss, and he runs out of the back of the store. And it's almost like you're able to mark this on the floor. And then when you stand, kind of like eye things out, you realize that you realize that knife that Ufizzi has is the butcher's knife. And then you look at those gingerbread men, and it makes sense that maybe they killed the butcher.
The baker.
I mean the baker. The baker. I said butcher.
Wait, is the candlestick maker still alive?
Yeah. But what's that? No, you know.
This may be bigger than all of us.
Neni would kind of act all of that out as she's figuring it out and be like, wait a minute, oh my gosh, and then they went over here, and then they moved over here, and then this, and she's just over dramatically describing the whole thing to the whole group. And I think maybe the gingerbread men killed this guy. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
why?
wonder if there's a connection to the snowman. Something is obviously animating these objects for dark purposes.
But why the baker? What did he do? Why did his baked
Perhaps
goods suddenly revolt?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm just at the front door holding it open, kind of watching the snowmen, making sure they're not getting closer to the bakery.
There's suddenly more screams. I mean, it's kind of just more or less like a screaming, but more still that wailing. And I'll say perception check from everyone.
From everyone?
Mm-hmm.
18.
I got a 1.
22. 17.
So, who got the highest? Was it Tim? 18?
I got an 18.
Ooh, 22.
I got a 3.
Okay. So, Tim, you're standing outside, right?
Yeah, well, I'm holding the door open.
Oh, you're holding the door open. So, as you're holding the door open and looking down the way, you see down the street, probably half a football field, as it kind of turns and little cottages aside, you see what looks to be a small little humanoid kind of hunched over, like huffing, and run by as though like running from something, panicking, and he disappears down an alley. So now you've got the crying of people in two different spots, different kids maybe being taken, or is there something? Tim has just saw something down that way, and then these snowmen scattered throughout the town.
Oh yeah, I see something running about a click down the road.
Oh wait.
No, I'll point where it was.
And naturally, Bulma just starts chasing.
Nice.
Chasing. Yeah.
So Bulma, give me acrobatic or not? Just give me full on just a dexterity check to see if you can just huff it and try to catch up with this thing. Does anyone? So now Bulma just takes off. What is everyone else doing?
14.
Okay.
Juniper will follow.
So Juniper just takes off following Bulma, little feet trying to keep up, and you both get down that 50 yards, and you make a left into the alley where Tim said he kind of pointed to, and as you're running, these little cottage, these little homes and rooftops above you through the mist and through the snow, you start to hear something like running alongside you, literally parallel, and as you both glance up, you can see some foreboding dark figure, and you can hear the jangling of chains and the jingling of bells on this creature, and you barely make out a couple of pair of horns from the silhouette, and you can hear the thing breathing. And there at the end of the block, there's a point where the space opens up, and you see that figure, and you see it stop, and it turns, and you see that long nose where it looks like it could be that goblin, and you're right there running. What do you do?
It's right next to me.
So to make it clearer, about 60 feet ahead of you at the end of the alleyway, you see that small figure, the little figure that Tim saw that's on the ground, that's parallel to you. But as you're running to catch up with it, this other thing is running beside you on the rooftop, 30 feet above.
How big is it?
Ufizzi wouldn't see it, but it is big for them. It is it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's down that
path.
Oh,
with
yeah.
them,
Okay. So me and Juniper are the only ones that can see this right now happening now. Okay. So I automatically am running, and I look up and I see this figure that is gigantic. So it's above me, so I can't do anything really right now.
Unless there's a spell you want to cast or anything like that. Just anything. You can, whatever you think you can do, you can. This isn't combat, but you can use whatever is available to you.
Well, can I just magic missile his ass, or
you could
to hopefully get it to fall off or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
his ass.
His ass.
So here's the thing: the magic missile is going to automatically work, right? When you set your target, it's just going to pelt this thing.
Yeah.
But to see if it can, I know with your mind, you're probably, the way you're thinking, you're probably trying to stop it from getting to the edge. You're trying to slow it down. And I want a Arcana check with your magic missile.
Hold on. I'm gonna roll this. 3. Do you want more?
Roll your damage from magic missile, because that's gonna apply.
Well, I know, but I have 3 of them, so they're all gonna be. I just rolled 1 for all 3, or you want me to?
No. I want you to roll out your damage from magic missile. It's gonna work. This isn't rolling from magic missile to fail. I wouldn't do that to you. This is
no. I know. I was just gonna say. So I have 2 that are worth 5, and I have 3 darts. So
okay. Yep. Go ahead and roll.
So I have 2 5s and 1 2, so 12 to that
damage.
One.
Okay.
Yep.
These little kind of rockets of light go streaming out of your hands. And then what did you get for the Arcana check?
4.
So you can see the thing kind of your magic missiles kind of pelt into its back, and it stops running and slides, and it's ahead of you, and it slides towards stops on the edge of the rooftop, and and it kind of like turns and it's wearing a large heavy hood, and it turns almost like to recognize that you all are there, and it breathes, and then you see a long wicked gangly like humanoid hand, clawed hand, come out, and the figure that tries to turn and run, you see chains go and grab onto him, and he goes no, and you hear like a human scream, and it gets pulled toward, and then you see this sack he pulls off, this large sack, and opens it and shoves whatever that humanoid was inside, and then looks down at you, and he just seems to like eye in your direction, and then suddenly looks up towards the sky, and at that moment the sky kind of opens up and a large chain kind of like drops down. He grabs it and he ascends the sky, and it is just gone as quickly as he was there.
So the thing that I was chasing got taken away. Okay.
So, and both Juniper and Bulma, you guys just are seeing this. So what are you guys seeing? What are you guys doing? I mean, I'm sure you're a little shocked. And then after we figure out what you guys are, we'll go back. And I know we're going to take a break soon, but we'll go back and we'll see what everyone else is saying, and we'll see where we're at.
So I just double looked to Juniper. I'm like, did you just, like, I don't say it, but you see it in my face. Like, what are we dealing with here? You know?
Yeah, well, I think we took on a bit more than we could chew. If you get what I mean.
All right.
Oh god.
And then it's like I say, let's go. We gotta go tell the others. Let's go back.
So we kind of swipe pan, and you guys are arriving back, and everyone is together. And yes, Ufizzi.
Were we able to see the chain? I know we,
Yes.
I know this was happening down the alley,
Yep.
but to see this thing
Yep.
open. from the
I think
sky.
you guys can see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's almost like you could see that thing come down from a distance over
Okay.
over
And
the-
is Boris still with us?
Yeah, Boris. So Boris is walking away from you back towards the Adventure Guild. You can see that the sheriff is walking towards the place with him, and he meets him, and they're both like talking on the sheriff. And he has a woman. There's a lady beside him. She's like, they took Katerina. What did she do? She hasn't done anything. And he comes to, and you can tell that they're trying to like kind of talk to each other, like nothing we could do. What is everyone?
Oh,
Am I close enough to like converse with them, or have
Yeah.
they walked?
No, they're just like, remember, everything's taking place in this little.
Okay,
In
so
town
I
square.
kind
It's
of. So I. Boris, what is this? What are we dealing with here?
I told you, it is a demon, and it is out of your depths. But, and then the sheriff cuts him off. He goes, "Look here, if you seem pretty adamant about handling what you're dealing with the Krampus, an evil demon that takes our children, but only those considered on its naughty list. It always camps in a glacier, a flying glacier outside of town. If you go there on the outskirts briefly through the cane forest, you should see a large chain that he will anchor to the side of the mountain. Climb it, and you will find all the answers I'm sure you're looking for. Though I expect you probably won't return."
This is insane. Never heard of something so like this.
Well, I'll try not to be offended that you just assume we're gonna die, but but yeah.
It's only because we've seen so many go. Well, he kind of like tucks his head, like, yeah, she's right. So you guys kind of are at this point, this crossroads, and there's on one hand, there's the thing that you came here for. You found some information about it. Ufizzi has some information, but then like, yeah, there's these kids, so you definitely know where to go if you plan to confront this thing head on. Are there any other ideas or takes on what to do? I'll leave that to you all.
So, like hypothetically speaking, question for you, GM. The
Mhm.
people of this town, are they of varying races or predominantly?
They're predominantly human, but there are mostly some half elves, some dwarves here, and they're welcoming to all all kinds that come through, but mostly humanoid humans, dwarves, half elves.
Understood. So, I kind of look like a child, right? I'm sorry I'm about to do this, Tim, and I'm gonna punch Tim in the side. That was very mean of me. If only something weren't to come and steal me away.
And give me a performance check, Juniper. And
Performance.
Neni is peeking through the doorway and like laughing and giggling behind her.
21.
like so, one of the snowmen head goes and looks towards Juniper, and you feel like Juniper, you have a feeling you're doing something right. Or because it seems like in terms of what you're looking for, you're on the right.
Oh,
You
they're like
blasted little wee lass.
they're like necromantic nanny cams.
And I go to Juniper and I say, do it again.
Okay. Sorry, Tim.
And Tim, as you get punched, how do you act? I mean, how are you feeling as he like punches you?
He's feeling it.
Very strong.
Another one of them kind of moves a little bit more, looks.
Neni, help me with this.
Neni like crouches down and then like kind of like kicks her little back feet and just does a running jump and tackles Tim.
So just tackle. So they go down and they're just like punching on him and stuff and like hurting him. And as you are, there's this huge like crackling. And a large chain just rappels down and slams in and shatters the Saint Nick like and is lying there. And something seems like you hear something coming down the chain into the courtyard. And as you all look up and prepare, the wind starts to kick up. We will take a break and and come back. Good stuff.
That was good thinking, you guys.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Tim Horton's now Uncle Tim Horton, where everybody is.
Sorry,
So
Tim.
good. All right. We are back. Thanks for sticking with us, all of you who may be watching right now. And we're excited to conclude our episode of The Cold Truth. Now, when we left off, the party has, found some interesting, tidbits of information, but there seems to be this other thing that's happening in the town that is rattling out of control as they try to figure out who's been the one. It seems like, who's been the one that's been stealing things or who killed the baker has turned into now we need to save the town from the demon Krampus. Our bard Juniper was able to kind of like play kid and start punching Tim, and then Neni joined in, and now with that the little watchful eyes of these arcanic snowmen that are around we're starting to pay attention, and the skies begin to darken, and like we said, something is coming, something is about to happen. And so we'll pick back up as you are all kind of standing there looking towards the sky. And as you are, I want to know from you all what's your hero pose? Like, what do we see as you're preparing for whatever's about to happen?
The Avengers get up.
Yeah, what's your
Definitely like
gut out, just gonna push and as you stand up, kind of like pushing up and looking towards the sky, like we had said, I'm sure Nini's on one arm, Juniper's on the other, and everyone kind of like hushes as they look towards the sky. Anyone else?
So I've got my glaive kind of resting on the side, and I assume it's like it's a little windy out.
Yeah, it's blowing. It's picking up.
My cloak and my white hair is like gracefully like flying behind me as I just kind of look into the sky, like that.
Nice.
And if it gets caught on my armor, I kind of just very nonchalantly give it a nudge, like so it looks like it's still blowing in the wind. So I just kind of make sure that it's still blowing behind me.
All right.
Neni's holding on to Tim's arm and grabs like with one arm and then licks her finger and gives him a wet willy.
Nice.
And oh, go ahead. No, I'm just standing. I just feel trying to like the energy in me is like I'm trying to control it as much as I want to just go after it impulsively, as you guys have seen me. Any noise that makes, I go towards it. And so I'm holding, and you can see the energy around my palms, just like a red glow around them. And I'm just standing and looking up and feeling. Yeah.
And anyone else?
Juniper probably would have very briefly, as soon as started noticing the activity in the sky above us, kind of let go of Tim, reached down into her bag and pulled out her small flute and start playing. Just a very slow, steady beat with any type of thunder that we're hearing around us or movements. Try to start getting the group ready.
Nice, kind of inspiring them. And so you guys hear her melody starts to kind of almost calm you and steady your mind. And then you see it. And then Boris goes, no. And he kind of tries to push the sheriff back and the lady who's next to him. And you see a huge chunk of ice. And there's just this almost like thunderous noise in the sky, followed by that crash of thunder as you see like boom, 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 like lights from something above. And as the clouds kind of part, you can see that glacier is kind of like moving. It almost looks like a small, diamond in the sky, a silhouette of one, but there's like these blasts coming from it, and then large cars, almost home-sized pieces of ice, begin to fall and slam down into the town around you, just literally crashing and exploding the one of the building directly behind you, just tearing it, shrapnel going everywhere. I'd like now dexterity saves from everyone. But then I'd also like to make this, after you make your dexterity save, I want this to be a really quick skill check. So skill challenge, meaning that you're going to show me heroically what you're doing in this moment as all this ice or large ball-sized rocks of hail slam into the ground. What do you do to, whether it be protect your friends, protect people in the town, or just take cover? Make it a scene as it all happens for me. But dexterity saves.
Got a nat 1.
Oh shoot. Okay. And so for your nat 1, say, what would Neni like? So she sees like a huge rock coming towards her, and it's like next to the building, right next to the guild, and she knows it's going to be bad, and it smashes, and like particles from the roof started going up. And what does she do? Like, how does she react? It's quick.
Loses her cool entirely.
Yeah.
And probably just like drops, like stop, drop, and roll, essentially. But it's the wrong event. But that's all she knows. So that's what she's doing.
And so, and as all this is going off, we just see like ice start to like cover up her, and let's see. I not to confuse her, let's keep going with dexterity, but we'll have to make a perception to see if anyone sees you go under. But you're just literally encased in ice, like you're under the snow, and you're gonna take 5 bludgeoning damage. Who's next? Dexterity says.
I got an 11.
sorry.
11. You will take that damage too.
How much? 5?
No, you're gonna take a different amount. I'm rolling different for you. So 6. But what do you now? Give me that. Like, what do you do in this moment? As you try to get out of the way of everything that's happening here.
So did I manage to dodge it? Well, first of all, I look around to make sure, like, are all of us, what's going on with everybody else?
Actually, I like this idea. Let's do that first, but we'll leave Neni's covered in ice, but as this is all happening, we'll do dexterity saves for last. So I just want to like get the idea of like what they're doing to either protect each other or get out of the way or talk to
I'm gonna look and see if it looks like any of the halflings are in danger of, like not being able to get out of the way in time. I'm gonna just dash for the closest one and try to scoop them up and either run away, or if I have to, just do like a ninja roll.
So why don't you give me an acrobatics check, and maybe you can retroactively save Neni from her nat 1. And I'm gonna make it a decent.
I got a 9.
Oh no! So he's like running in slow motion and like diving, and you almost have to like dive across that fountain and the presence that are there as more rocks start to pelt that area, and you land kind of prone right where she is, and you see her little hand sticking out of the snow, but you know where she is, and then you take that 6 damage. But also while this is happening, he's just dived for Neni. There's also Boris, who's trying to get to the guild or to get cover. He's still exposed, him, the sheriff, and the lady that are there. Camera's kind of like panning through the scene as this is all happening. Tim, Bulma, Juniper.
Juniper first reflex at that point, if she sees anything coming close to her, she's going to use her acrobatic pass to try to, whatever it means, diving out of the way, cartwheeling out of the way with as much flair as possible, because aesthetic.
Nice, yes. So acrobatics check for her.
That was going to be 15.
15. And so you are gracefully moving and dodging, and to the point where, like, so I imagine more she he flips and kind of cartwheels and misses a piece of like jagged ice, and almost in slow motion. And so I'm gonna allow Neni to give like a help action or aid to someone else so that they get advantage on the check that they make.
Tim was closest.
Tim was probably right next to you.
Oh.
Almost like she's maybe pulling him.
Yeah, I got 19 on the dex save.
So you're good. And then what was your dex save, Juniper, before the acrobatics check?
14.
Okay, you're good. Yep.
Okay.
So you guys like diving out of the way, and then you pull Tim right before he's about to get hit by a piece. And Tim, you stagger forward, and so it's almost like a chain reaction where Bulma is, and you're able to aid Bulma. Bulma, what did you get on your dex save?
Got a 10.
Okay, so looks like Bulma's about to get hit by like shrapnel coming off of the or pieces of bricks that are flying off the fountain. And so you can, Tim, how would you aid Bulma, and then Bulma, actually, Bulma, what are you doing in the moment? What were you trying to do? It doesn't have to be dexterity or strength. It might be something else. It might be something with sorcery or.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a misty step, but I think that I mean that counts as a bonus action, but I don't know if I'd be able to do that where I could essentially just teleport to an unoccupied area. That
I'll allow you to do it, and I won't even have you burn it as a spell. Like I'm gonna allow you to do your Misty Step. So just give me an Arcana check.
Okay. I got a 4.
Okay. Tim, how are you helping her so that we can give her advantage? What does it look like?
Well, I was gonna run up and kind of hip or belly, kind of check her out of the way.
Yeah.
So let's get your Arcana check again, Bulma.
You want me to do it again?
Yeah, because you get advantage, so you're getting one more roll is what he's providing you.
10.
All right. So unfortunately, it's like you check her, and so she because it's almost like she teleports, but she teleports into another spot that's about to be disastrous, and you run up and you hit her, and you push her into the fountain. She scatters into the fountain, and more snow piles in on top of her. So we've got she's in the fountain, laying down. Fizzy somewhere around here. Boris is able to get inside, and then as all this is happening,
Malk, are you showing your tabletop or no?
I am not yet. I'm about to. You're just yep. It's
by the way, I have danger sense, which gives me advantage on dex saves for effects that I can see, and I rolled exactly the same thing.
For you to see what?
For his advantage.
Oh.
Same exact roll.
So the town square is devastated. We've lost a couple of buildings that are literally piled on top, full of ice. There's bits of fire that's just kind of rolling, on the tops of the snow from the jagged pieces, whatever exploded inside of some of the shops that were there. Now, most of those places were probably empty, so thankfully a lot of people have probably not perished. Boris has run inside and shut the door, and the only one, as you can see, one of the only buildings not touched is the guild. The Adventurers Wanted Guild still stands. As this happens, those chains come wriggling down, and you realize you're surrounded by those snowmen as you all prepare for what's coming, more of what's coming. And then all these little big heavy boxes, they sound like crates. They slam into the snow, and they're all presents. They're all beautifully wrapped. And then something slams against the ground. A hooved figure drops, and his hand touches, and as that hood rises and those horns come up, you see a goat-like face starts to sniff around, and he pulls out in one hand a huge glaive with little lights that around it, but the lights float. They're different colors: blue, red, green. And then in his other hand, he pulls out a big switch, like a birch. Someone in need of chastisement. Imitating a child is worthy of death. So you must take your whooping now. Roll for initiative as Krampus slams down here.
Nice job, little ones. Your plan.
So he's going to be towards the back, but for a second here, we'll let you get a good look at the child taker. He's about 8 feet tall. He's huge. He's covered in heavy layers of red and white furs.
Awesome.
Hand is out. He's got a long, his goat beard is braided down. This demon, this fiend, is ready. So we're gonna put him up there. All right. Try to go to overhead so we get a little better view of the area and where everyone is. Camera's probably a little glitchy and we can probably go to pinning. Let's see, and we will. All right, I will go to get our initiative order set up. Everybody roll initiative, and Bulma, what did you get?
Got 11.
Okay. Ufizzi.
A 9.
Ooh. All the craziness happening. It's caused the party to react a little bit slower this time. Juniper. Oh, Juniper. What you get for 13? Perfect. And Tim?
16.
16. Neni.
4.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
she's got. It makes sense.
Fitting.
I love when the dice match what's happening in the story. They're just like, yeah, that makes sense. All right. And just gonna kick this off here is the Krampus is going to go first, and so the figure back there kind of shifts, and you realize the snow starts to pick up very heavy from his position, and he kind of whispers under his breath, and his staff lights up, and it all lights up. All the lights suddenly go one color, and then boom, he splits in two, and you see two of him. Of course, I don't have a miniature as big and as massive as him, but basically he has a stand-in. But there looks to be almost like he's shifting, like there's two figures back there where he is. So you're seeing double. And then with that, he takes kind of a bonus action very quickly, and it almost looks like he shifts backwards, like he turns into a shadow for a second, and the wind where he's at just starts to get very, very heavy. The snow starts to fall like right around him to the point where it's like creating cover, just like natural cover for him where he's standing. And then we move to Tim. Tim, you're right here. You're right next to Bulma, who just fell into the and you can see as the everything's been wrecked here in the town. You're right here. What do you want to do there?
I'll reach in the fountain, pull up Bulma.
All right.
Put her back on her feet.
Yeah. So I'll treat that as a bonus action, so she doesn't have to stand up. She doesn't lose. So you get her back on her feet with your bonus action. Come on, pulling her up. She's dusting snow off of herself and soot and pieces of rock.
Oh,
Anything else you want to do?
And then I'll walk up right before the snowman there.
Okay.
Just before that little slant thing. And then
which snowman are you looking at?
Just in front of both of them, just wherever.
Okay. So the closest one, you saying? I'd imagine with 30 feet, you're like right there to that guy, right there. Kind of rush up to that one. Does that seem okay to you?
Or I meant the two looking down at us, so I'd be kind of.
Oh, gotcha. Up here. So yeah, like you kind of running up the climbing, and yeah, I would imagine with the difficult terrain, you would be able to just get up there in between those two, and and go in for a big attack.
I'll go in for attack, but before that, I'll look at Krampus. I'll say, "Why don't you pick on someone your own age, you meanie?" And that one.
He's just started. I will today. and so as you miss the one, like you go like you slice through towards the snowman with the axe, and he kind of hops, and you can see like the head, the body, the midsection, and the bottom separate. Axe goes right through, and they just all slam right back down on each other.
Awesome. And that's my turn.
That's your turn. This is happening. We move. So Tim, also, if anyone wants to take note of these or put them in chat, so that by the time we go through the first round, everything, you guys will also know the order too. So Krampus right now, and then it's Tim. After Tim, it's now Juniper's turn.
Ooh.
And you are, where do I have Juniper? I want to see you. Did I not put you on the board? Oh no, right here in the orange. So you're standing right near Bulma, and Ufizzi's here. That's where you are. I know it's weird because my camera lights everything up really well, but here it's just super dark blue. And I can't see what that is. That's like silhouette. So okay.
Perfect. And so I see the two snowmen that Tim is up next to. Am I able still to see Krampus, like his form where I saw him stand? Is he within 30?
Him. He's just obscured, but he. Oh, you said. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Oh, that's fine. Is he within 30 feet of me?
Yep, 30. He is. Gotta bust out the tape measure since we don't have any.
Perfect. So Juniper is going to kind of keeping in mind the two snowmen as well. Put down her flute to her side and start screaming, "I'm sorry to be such a pain, but it's time you finished your reign. Feel this musical smack and you'll fail to attack. For now, I'm your ultimate bane." And I need the two snowmen and Krampus to
Yes.
make
Nice.
Nice. Very cool. So music spell goes. Love it. So what can I save?
Charisma. DC is 13.
Charisma. Okay, so I'll do the snowman first. Oh, that's not going to be good. So one of them actually didn't do too bad, but even like, so 10 I know fails, I'm sure, and then I got a 12 on another snowman.
That also
So those
fails.
are both fails. And then for Krampus, just make sure he's not resistant or anything. Okay, for Charisma, all right. And he's gonna fail again. He got a 13, so.
Oh, actually, that meets it. So
that meets it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so okay. So what happens to them again?
The two snowmen have Bane on them currently.
Mhm.
So, let's see here. Whenever a target, whenever they make an attack roll or a saving throw, they'll need to roll a d4 and subtract the number rolled.
Okay, got it. So D4 comes off of whenever they attack. And what do you, and so yeah, so then the snowmen, I guess the way that looks is as they're responding to Horton, they seem to like be moving a bit off. And also another thing about all those snowmen is like when they came to life, it's almost like the branches came out of their body with the weapons attached. Like they like keep them inside. They just kind of punched out and came to life there. So yeah, very awesome. And is that conclude Juniper's turn, or does she?
Yes, that does for now.
Okay, so camera pans moving to Bulma, who's been pulled up by her buddy Horton.
Uncle Tim Horton.
So what I'm going to do, I start focusing on Krampus because he's literally the biggest thing that, my attention automatically just goes directly to him. And I will do essentially I raise my finger at him and I point it and I fire off True Strike. So it grants me a brief insight into my target's defenses. So on my next turn, I gain advantage on my first attack against him. So
Okay.
I kind of just learned about, any of his defenses, or I don't know if that would go into his.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
No worries. So I point a finger at my target and my magic grants me a brief insight into the target's defenses.
Okay, so it would like give you, I would probably like share with you like his armor class and if there are any like resistances or things based on the way he's moving that you would be able to pick up.
Yeah,
Okay.
briefly.
So I need to make a save, or is it a ranged spell?
Nope, it's just, you just
Oh, it just works.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So the way he's moving, Bulma's able to, like with her sorcery, is able to pick up that like it takes a, it's basically translating as like a 16 to hit him is his AC. And that based on the size and the bulkiness of him, you would imagine that he's probably resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, regular weapons like that. But you also figure that magic would probably do the trick as well.
Okay. So I'm like, basically my fingers glowing like ET as I'm sensing all of this as it kind of just flows through my body. And I just yell out like, "Don't try to bludgeon him." And then I'm going to use my bonus action.
And it doesn't mean those things don't work. They just aren't as effective. They just aren't as, they'll still hurt. So if that's all you got, that's, you whacking him with wood or stick, it's still going to hit him.
Yeah. But I would say probably keep your distance. So I'm going to do Misty Step as my bonus action. And I'm going to get on top of that roof, right above.
This one?
Nope. The other one.
Okay.
Right next to Krampus.
I see where you're going. So at 30 feet, I can see you getting up there. Yeah. Oh no, I lost her. She fell. Man down. Hold on.
Fell into the ethereal plane.
Got her. All right. So we're gonna put her right there. So you're on that. You're like on that second. You're not really up that high where I put you, but you're probably in that like right on that rooftop area, and you kind of teleport and slide into some of the shingles on the roof start to move, and you're like, oh, and you realize it's a bit dangerous up here.
Yeah.
But you're there now.
Perfect.
All right. As you end your turn, we then move to Ufizzi. So you're right back down here. Yep, that's where you're at.
So my knuckles whiten as I grip the haft of the glaive, and I just like grit my fangs, and I feel the fire again. I'm looking around at all of the destruction that has been wrought on this town, and all of the ice that had fallen on my comrades, and I just again I get that fire and that focus, and I go into a rage. So I need a roll on the wild magic chart again, a D8.
And I need to roll a D8.
Yep.
I got a 7 that time.
Okay. Flowers and vines temporarily grow around me until my rage ends. The ground within 15 feet of me is difficult terrain for my enemies.
So like, do you see these flowers start to sprout through the ground, through the snow, like magically all around Ufizzi?
And then, so is Krampus 30 feet away?
It's difficult terrain going up. So this is probably this is really about a 10-footer. Plus with the guys in front of you, unless you go around, this is probably about 20 feet that you got to get through. So I imagine it would probably end right there if you used all 30 feet.
Okay, now I do have a 10-foot reach with my weapon, so I'm wondering if that gets me within.
I think it barely. I'm not gonna give that one to you. I think you're not there yet. I think.
Okay, that's cool.
I imagine even if you swing out, it's just like he's just like.
Okay,
there's so much snow and stuff in front of him.
Okay, then in that case, I will take my glaive, and as I'm rushing past the two snowmen and Tim, I'll like swing it over his head and try to lop off one of the snowmen's heads.
Come on,
okay.
that one.
Nice. Go for that.
Carefully avoiding the horn, tipping the horn. Oik. That's going to be an 8.
8 is going to miss, unfortunately.
No, I have a. Yes, that is indeed an 8.
8. So yeah, so he will miss. So he's like running through, like he's like, Tim, move, and then the little you like go for like with the neck, and of course the little snowman just like whoop, just like dodges it, and almost loses his little pipe, catches it in one hand and like flips it, puts it back in, and keeps fighting.
As I see that happen, I say, "Curse you, winter creature!"
It says nothing, just continues to move very animatronically, like whatever magic is in it. As this is happening, if Ufizzi is done, we then move to. So suddenly at this moment, these little presents just start to, like all at once, they just boom, 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 they all explode, and confetti like goes everywhere as each one of them, as the crates open up, are replaced by a different toy. My creations bring me joy by bringing me their heads. And so these little figures, and this little like army, little paladin soldier kind of walks out, and his eyes go like red, and then just start marching towards Ufizzi and makes an attack. That's going to be a. So an unnatural 20, dirty 20 to Ufizzi.
That will hit, but I have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
Yep. So it will cut you. It's a slashing, so it's only going to be. It's actually only going to be 3 damage, which you cut in half. I'll say just take 1.
Okay.
Yep. And so he attacks another one that is over here, standing on the edge that passes out of this box. Looks down and there's a little mound of snow with a hand reaching out that no one ever like pulled little Neni out, and then it like sees the hand and it waves its little wand, and as it waves the wand fires out a little magical blast, exploding the snowman in front of it, just boom, and goes through and fires at Neni. That is it gets advantage, so 14 on the first and a natural 20 on the second roll. So the damage will be 4 damage to Neni, and when they hit you, it's not actually like magic. It's almost like little darts coming out of this little wooden wand, and they slam into her. But they kind of like feel like they have they do feel like a little bit of magic, like they shock a bit. And she gets hit, and they blow some of the snow off of her, so we at least see her now like crawling on the ground. The third one, this one like cackles. It looks like a little witch, and it like just waves its hands and just points towards Juniper. And as you see this little thing, it looks like a little marionette, like in a little shawl, and her eyes are kind of creepy. Give me a wisdom save.
Oh no, a 9.
Oh, it rolled a 12, and so until your next round, you can try to break it. But like, basically, you start to hear a nice soothing song, and you all look as Juniper just starts to do the same little dance, like starts to kind of like move like this with the creature, and the little puppet just keeps like mirroring her. At this moment, we move to Neni.
Neni will like climb to her feet and like crawl out and like kick the snow as she's getting out. She's like, "Gee, thanks for all the help, you guys." Oh man! And then she's gonna go for whatever the closest thing that she can reach.
Yep. So she sees snowman here, thing on the ridge that just shot her, all close, and this thing here. She could probably climb up to this reach on her turn and make it to this little baddie as well. So that's all she sees right now.
Yeah, I think.
Can she also give me a perception check?
Yes. 22.
Okay, so in the upper room right here of this building, she sees a little shadow peek out, and then like with a little crossbow, and then when it sees her, it ducks back in, and it looks like a little elf, like a little goblin figure, and so that's that guy right there. So he was hiding.
Oh, great!
So you got lots of.
And she's just gonna shout it to the group, like, "There's eyes everywhere. They've got weapons in the windows." And she's gonna move towards. If she knew that this guy attacked her on the ridge, she's gonna move towards him for a revenge strike.
That would get her there. Yeah, 10.
If
20,
she can make
5, 10. That'll be 5.
She's a halfling also, so.
So yeah, so I think she'd be
tiny.
pulling. So yeah, she'd be pulling herself right up over the ridge to get up on the top and staring down, unless she's going to try to surprise attack him, or unless she's going to throw something at him. She's just right. Unless she dashes, she's right out of. Actually, she can take a free dash action. She can take the bonus
throw a
action.
dagger.
Okay.
I think she's just gonna throw something at him and be like, "That was very mean," and she's gonna miss.
So she
throws
her dagger.
A 6.
And then she throws it. It like moves out. What was the number though? Because they're not necessarily that high. Just.
It was a 6.
Okay, she missed.
Yeah.
They're little, but they move kind of as nimbly as you do. At this moment, as Neni is done, you notice that some of those snowmen begin to advance. One moving up to Juniper, another one moving 10, 15, 20, just moving towards Neni over here, and then the two up there. The two, one is going to, both of them will, one will try to attack Ufizzi, and the one who he just tried to cut, and then one will try to attack Tim. So one that's, yes.
Just so we don't forget, they're 15 feet around my original position is difficult.
Is the yes.
Okay.
So around your like all right here.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're not moving, so they should be fine.
Okay.
Right. So they're just standing there. You're right there, and then he's there. So they're just gonna like they're just making attacks.
Going up, is that Juniper?
Where Juniper's right here, and so yes. So you were here. So so then this one, difficult terrain. So if he moves,
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I should probably do. So if you were, that'd be from. It's a radius, right?
Yeah. Let me double check.
Diameter, because if it's like, it depends if it's diameter, then yeah, that would affect him, but barely.
Yeah, it says it's radius within 15 feet of me, so it would be a 15-foot radius sphere.
Okay. So then I think he's fine then.
Okay.
Yep. So one attack, the first attack only does 12 to you, so I think that misses. The second attack's to Horton. That's gonna miss too. 12. That doesn't hit you, of course. And then one attack to little Juniper, and that's a whopping 7. So even though she's like, oh, actually, because she's on the thing, it gets advantage. So
okay.
that second one is gonna hit. But the good news is that even though you get hit, this knocks you out of the trance. So like he takes you and he misses that first time, and then the back of the axe wallops you in the forehead, like kind of swings down away. And as she staggers away, she wakes up and she sees that thing standing in front of her, and she takes 4 bludgeoning damage on that.
Okay, so since I do have, I'll take 4 damage. I'll need to make a concentration check.
Okay.
I do have the Warcaster feat,
Yes,
so I'll get advantage on that. It's 16 on the die. So
I think you're good. And then so the Somen are done, and then that one little goblin peeks out, takes a shot at and is gonna miss. Takes a shot at Neni. Then I need a perception check from Bulma.
I was gonna say 10. What's up with the 10s?
All right. So suddenly you realized, like, from the side, you kind of look and something is creeping up on you from over the top of the roof, and another goblin tries to like leap down on you and grab you from behind and stab into you with a little dagger. And that's gonna be 14 to hit you.
Miss.
Okay, so you're able to jump back, doesn't hit you, and then it disengages from you and like leaps over the side and like goes back into the side of the room, goes back in here, and so is out of the way of your pretty much tries to go back and hide inside the house. And so now you realize that you have a goblin on that upper floor interfering with your plans. You're still on that second floor right there.
Do I get a free attack if it's trying to disengage with me?
No, because goblins get a bonus disengage action. So he just he attacks at you and then he jumps back through the window.
Okay,
And they're pretty nimble. So as this happens, we're done with all the monsters. We're going into round 2. Top of the round, Krampus is there. And so as he sees Ufizzi coming towards him, he just waves his hand. And as he does that, he is going to cast some kind of spell. And it looks like his hand goes out and it starts to glow blue. And then he reaches it back and then tosses it out like that. And you see boop, 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 and just snowballs just start to just come out like he's just throwing, he's just pitching them, but with just from his hand. You are going, any creature within a 5-foot radius of the sphere centered, and I'm going to center it right on this point on YouTube, will give me a dexterity saving throw.
So I can see these snowballs coming at us?
You can.
Okay, so I get advantage on that dex
Okay.
save. Oh, natural 20, so that's a 23.
Nice. So 23. So you pass. So you take half, and then how about you, Tim?
14.
14 and that spell save. So you do fail. And so it's going to be 8 damage for Ufizzi and 17 damage for Tim as he's trying to push you back as those Snillick snowball swarm piles into you. He burns the spell slot. He continues to stand where he's at. Krampus is done. It's Tim's turn.
All right. Like, all right, you damn hosers. I just start flailing my battle axe at the guy to the right of me, the snowman.
Okay. Yep, go for it.
23 to hit.
Okay. Oh, and I forgot one. No, that I didn't. Oh, we're good. Okay, 23, that hits. Go for it. Damage.
10 damage. Great axe.
How do you destroy the snowman?
Just off its head.
Just this time, he has nowhere to go. You're able to find right in that spot. And he just missed it. Evidently, you killed the other one too. Killing snowmen all over the place. They've died twice so far. But yeah, that one guy is out of your way as you smash through him. Just this little burly dwarf just wrecking shop. Now you've, I don't know what as you pivot around, you've got the other one on you. You see Ufizzi next to you fighting alongside you. What do you want to do?
And then I'll just take my second wind to get some HP back, and then that's my turn.
So he kind of breathes in, tries to gather himself.
Oh, grab a Timbit.
Yeah, just a little something in his mouth, chomp down on it, and then we move to Juniper.
Okay, so after seeing, well, first of all, after getting hit in the face, rude, she's a little bit more preoccupied with her friends that just got a lot of damage. Kind of glancing over her shoulder to Ufizzi and Tim and seeing Neni also off to the side. Is Neni within 60 feet of
Krampus?
of a Juniper?
Neni is, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Kind of slowly, Juniper's gonna start hitting her heel to the ground in a really interesting rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
And as her hands kind of circle up around her, her clothing looks a lot more glamorous than it did before.
Ooh.
There's sparkles that are coming off of her, and she almost has this glow to her. She's going to expend one of her bardic inspiration to use Mantle of Inspiration for Ufizzi, Tim, and Neni. So you guys will all get 5 temporary hit points. Nice. And you can choose, if you want to immediately use your reaction to move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks.
Awesome. So she's glamorously sending that magic out, boosting her party, inspiring them furthermore. And is anything else you want to do? I know you're in kind of in a situation. So you're kind of sticking put.
And then, because that was the bonus action for her, she's gonna take out her
absolutely.
sword and then just try to slice at the snowman.
Absolutely, gotta kill that guy.
That's going to be. Well, that's not very good. It's gonna be 9.
9. That will not hit. Kind of misses. Swings. And it's like you're little and you're kind of dodging around and you're swinging that little short sword, and every now and he keeps kind of blocking with that little wooden shield for a second, and your sword gets stuck in there and he pulls back. That fight continues back and forth. If you're done, I'll move on, Juniper.
Yes.
To Bulma. Now you're up there. You're still up in that second story. Mm-hmm. So you're probably right around here where you're looking down on Krampus. There, not very far from him at all. A short drop to the snow below, and knowing that you're being stalked by a goblin on that second floor.
So I automatically, I automatically forget essentially about the goblin, and I look at Krampus, and I'm just going to cast Thunder Wave on him from up top. And so she's basically you just see all of this energy around her, and the wind is blowing just around her, and it looks like it's sucking, her body is sucking in energy.
Yep.
And then she just provides this like big orb of energy, and it just goes straight into Krampus from her bosom.
Nice. And so when you target a creature, because of the spell that he has on him, he hasn't been hit yet, so he hasn't had to check on anything. He rolls a d20, and if he hits an 8 or more, you might target the wrong image, because remember, he's making 2 images of himself. And so you target the other image, but the thing is, it's Thunderwave, which does it have a radius effect?
It's a 15-foot square foot.
Yep. So either way, the figures are right there, so they're all encompassing. So I'm gonna just say you're gonna hit him. So go ahead. And so
you have to hit a Constitution save.
Yep. So it's gonna disrupt. Oh, wow, he failed that. So go ahead and give me the damage. So as he's like, no, and he kind of like starts to move, and he just gets caught up in it, and all this snow, boom, goes blasting outward. Shit ruffling his clothes.
He gets a 9 damage.
Take that 9, and his image fades away. Actually, let's see. Yep, his image fades away. So you only see one of him now. He takes 9 damage. And as he huffs, and he looks towards like where it came from, you see him just kind of huff and roll back up towards you. Then as he does that, you realize that you hear something else you heard like whimpering. And he goes, shut up, and he punches like towards like under a bag that's on his back, and you realize the bag is moving. There's something or multiple humanoids in the bag that he's holding. I think anyone I'm just gonna share that and say that without even perception checks, I think that Ufizzi sees that definitely. Anyone else who wants to react on that is going to have to make a perception check, but I'm going to say Tim knows that and Bulma knows that you see that bag moving and know that like there's definitely humanoids or something in there that's alive. Okay, if Bulma's done, then we move to Ufizzi.
Well, this is just too much for my anger. So I look at Tim, and I say, I'm afraid I must leave you, my friend. And I'm going to use that opportunity from Neni's, was it your spell? No, Juniper's spell. From Juniper's spell.
Yep.
To disengage and just kind of twirl around, my cape twirling behind me, and also spinning the glaive. I'll stay 10 feet from him, though, because my reach is 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to stay just out of his melee range, if that's possible.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I'll give you that.
And I'm actually going to reckless attack this guy.
And he just kind of like hunkers down as you come running towards him, kicking up snow, and he's like, bring it! And he kind of like brings his glaive up.
And I just charge with my glaive, and I just try to, spin it and spear him. So I get advantage on that. And then he gets advantage, or, well, anybody has advantage on me till my next turn.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a 13 to hit.
So she clashes against your blade to blade. You guys are both like sparks are going off. You're like fighting him in this mini blizzard that is just like, it's like everybody else is fighting in a blizzard, and then you're fighting in this little pocket that's just you and him back and forth. Your blades just kind of clashing. And you don't hit him. If you have another attack, you can try for it, or otherwise. Because remember, Jackie or Bulma has she wouldn't know that, but she's so you gotta hit that 16 mark is that sweet spot.
Oh, right, okay. No, I am done.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, so suddenly, as he blocks with his glaive, he pulls from under, kind of, he hooks that bag, and he pulls out this birch with a legendary action, and he just whips at you with it. I think he's gonna miss that. 13.
That misses.
Like so, and then it kind of flings right by you like slow motion. You realize it, and you have a feeling that if it would have hit, it would have stung in a terrible way. and he misses. So he moves on to from you to our little monster. So one of them kind of tries to like follow in behind you, trying to keep up, and attacks Ufizzi with a 12. Is not going to do anything. Kind of
He gets advantage on that.
Oh, he does. Okay, but does someone have a spell that's still taking away a D? I'm rolling a D4 off of the.
Yeah,
okay.
my Bane's
Yep.
still active.
So that's why then he gets another. So he fails again. So they are failing. Good stuff. And then the last little what am I doing? So the one over here seems to be knows that almost preoccupied, is just gonna move forward and kind of try to join, but hasn't been able to join the attack yet. The other one sees this one over here, sees we'll just move this out of the way, sees Neni right in front of her, so we'll just shoot another one of those little blasts. There'll be 16, but minus D. Actually, is it all of them, or is it just a certain radius?
For the it was just two of the snowmen that were up
just
near.
the two snowmen. Okay, gotcha. So it's so these are good. So then that's going to be a 16 to hit Neni, and then the damage on it is another 3 damage. So she's kind of blocking, trying to get in there. She's firing away. Neni, it's your turn to respond.
She's gonna pull out her short sword and kind of with a flourish try and get him.
Yeah, okay.
That's a dirty 20.
That will hit. Go ahead for damage.
And can I use sneak attack on this? Because it's once per turn, or do I have to be sneaky to use sneak attack?
You have to have like either hid or be able to get advantage on the attack. So like if you had someone there fighting with you, but he's just focusing on you coming at him, so no sneak attack.
Okay, just checking. That's 10 points of piercing damage.
Dead. So killing another toy. So the toys are slowly dropping off of the scenario here, and what I'm going to do is Neni. This leaves nothing but a few goblin and a snowman left. The snowman, it will. Are you done? Did you want to move anywhere else? Neni, you want to stay? Because you just killed him, so you didn't have. You moved like 5 feet, so you could try to get somewhere else.
Yeah, I think she would probably just crouch on the edge there and try and assess her most advantageous position.
Okay.
She can move on to for her next turn. I don't think she'd do anything more.
Okay. Let's see. At this moment, after her response with using another legendary action, this Krampus, he teleports. Now when he teleports, he kind of phases and he counts as invisible. So I'll still take the a opportunity of attack from Ufizzi, but he does get it at disadvantage as he teleports, drops right down, right here, right behind Juniper, and he goes, "You're the only one I want." And he kind of is reaching for, but it's not his turn any longer. Third turn, and you realize with all this power, it makes it very apparent of where we're at. And so there is. So I'm gonna say this is the possibly the last round of the game, or maybe one more. You pretty much all have somewhere between 6 or 12 seconds to react as he is going to. It looks and peers all purpose, and Juniper's looking up like he's going to try to snatch her and put her in her bag and bounce. So
did you say I get an opportunity attack?
You do.
So the bag is it on his? It's on his back, right?
Where is it on his back? Yeah, like and he kind of like flips it. Sometimes it's on the back, or like right under that first. Like he'll flip a cloak back and then reveal it. But it is accessible. It's there, but it's like under a layer of wolf fur and pelt.
Does it look like does it look like I could cut it off of the strap or whatever that he is holding it?
with.
This is all happening so quickly through the snow. Give me a very quick insight check.
That is probably not going to do it. 12.
And so, yeah, actually, what you do notice is that the up top, the set, it's hooked or rigged in a way where cutting it off would be very difficult. Not saying it's not possible, just would be very difficult. But one thing about it is what I think Ufizzi wonders is, can it be cut open? And I'll leave you with that.
Okay, I will attempt then.
Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to allow you to attempt that with your opportunity of attack. You can do that on your turn. Right now, your opportunity of attack is just like he's phasing away, he's running, he's teleporting, and you just get that attack in.
Okay. Well, that I have disadvantage on that, so that misses.
Okay. So he hasn't been touched much. He's been hurt a little bit, and as he phases down from that ledge direction, it's actually his turn. It's top of the round. And he will, so basically as he lands in front of Juniper, he takes one, as he lands, he kind of steps back, takes a wide stance, swings his head, raking it across this ridge here, trying to, he's like tearing into his own snowman, just bursting his snowman into nothing, but trying to gore Tim along with it. And that's going to be 22 with a 5-foot reach. And he's going to do 13 damage, 13 piercing damage to and then I need a strength, just a good old strength check from you.
18.
So you as he swings, you get hit. One of them kind of sticks into you, but you realize he's trying to like lift you and flip you over him and throw you down on the ground, but you don't have any of that, and you're able to pull away and kind of run your axe across one of the horns, and he does not move you. As he steps back frustratingly, then he takes a he like kind of looks over to the side from under his hood, and he tosses a it looks like something black, and he throws it at Bulma on the roof. That's 25. Jesus, rolling good. Does that hit you? And so as that hits you, and then you're gonna give you. So Bulma, you see this thing coming towards you, and as it slams into you, you take 8 fire damage as a lump of coal hits you right in the chest, burns like your cloak. You're like, you like kind of like do like this to try to get it off of you. He's like, and he kind of just chuckles. It's now no longer his turn. It's Tim's turn.
Tim, frustrated.
Step away and let me take my prize, little dwarf.
Right, you little shit. He's gonna try to jump up on his back and open up his sack if he can get up there.
Yeah. Nice. And I'll also say, like what Tim's doing, these are the moments towards the end of the game where you can try all the crazy over-the-top stuff, even if it's not in your rule set. Go for it. So you're gonna try to jump onto him and dislodge the sack, is what you're saying, or like unstrap
or
it?
just even open it up. Yeah.
Okay. So first, what I'm gonna think you're going to do is give me. He's gonna have to leap through the air, and I need a acrobatics check to see if he can like jump and latch on without falling. And I'm just gonna. That check is gonna be based on his dexterity. So whatever I roll for Krampus, you need to beat it. Oh God.
13.
Okay. So Tim, Tim jumps, and you miss the bag, and you end up slamming and grabbing onto the side of the fur next to his, and you can smell like his very kind of like staunch, like disgusting just breath in your face. He's like, get off of me. And he starts to, you're able to hold on, but your hand can't get to the bag. And so now you're just kind of stuck swinging off of Krampus, but attached to him. So because you kind of failed that, you no longer can make the check that I was going to give you to try to get into the bag, but you are attached on his backside. So I'm just going to put you on his base because you are on him. Now you jumped, you tried. Talk me through. So what would you, here's the thing, I'll still give you your normal action since you can't get in the bag. So you could try to attack him or something like that.
Yeah, I'll just try to swing my axe around just anywhere like closest to the head I can get to him. You know, I'm just flailing at this point.
If you want a headshot, I'll give it to you, but it'd be a disadvantage. If you just want to strike him anywhere, it'd be a regular hit, regular strike.
Yeah, just anywhere. I'm just like trying to get around him, or you know, yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna lower his AC armor by 2 since you're holding on to him.
20 to hit.
Oh yeah, hit him. Go ahead and give me the damage on that.
14.
So that takes all that damage, and he goes and your axe is jammed into his side, and you can tell that like with his legendary action, he kind of wants to grab Juniper, but you're on him and he can't stand it, so he goes for who's on him. He goes for Tim. Tim, you are going to need to make a.
Goodbye, everybody.
Successful. Okay, it's just a grapple. So strength against strength.
Oh yeah.
You might have me here because you're
18.
Yeah. So he grabs you and he's like, nah! And you just see he's like, get in the bag. He like pulls it off, and he's so frustrated. Like it's just you see him just trying, and it's open, and like this little dwarf just will not go in there. And then he brings his horns down, and both of your horns lock. Like, and it's just like ah. And then as this is happening, Juniper, you're up, and Tim has given you a moment to like seize the moment. And I'm gonna say that also Krampus is so distracted by this that anyone around him also isn't in opportunity of attack range. He's also large, so you can move freely. You do have the snowman on you, but
he's fine. Oh my goodness. Okay. She's gonna ignore the snowman that's right next to her.
Yep.
And kind of turn around and try to get Krampus's attention and say, I'm not sure if you've heard, but I know of a powerful word, and I hope that you're hurt when you're put in the dirt by the movement I've suddenly spurned, and I need him to make a wisdom saving throw.
I love that you wrote all of these. These are so good.
That's awesome.
It's so awesome.
That deserves advantage on that roll.
I wish I had music for all of them so I could like play whatever she's like. So
I can't sing, so rhymes.
No, they're great. They're great. Wisdom save.
Yes.
I failed it. Only got an 8.
Yeah, so I used Dissonant Whispers on him.
Dissonant Whispers.
So he is going to be taking, because that's my second level spell slot, 21 points of psychic damage.
Ooh.
Nice.
So this move, what does it look like? Because what does the spell look like first? But I can tell you as it connects with him, it rocks him to the point where he drops Tim and throws you off Tim into the snow right beside, just kind of flings you.
Head first, right? So
yeah. Anything you want to add to it just for its flair, Juniper? Because this is like a pretty devastating move here.
I would say that despite her normally very colorful appearance, by seeing Tim be harmed in such a way, everything around her suddenly kind of grows darker, and her like normally like really kept hair just starts fluffing up, and her eyes get really big at him.
Wow.
It looks like the words are weaving around him.
And he looks down on you with like he's surprised at how strong I don't think he's seen the kind of power come from a being so small. Like he's used to this big dwarf and then the big tiefling, and he just and he's kind of looking down on you, almost like impressed. And he goes, "You are no child," and you are. Great strength resides. He kind of starts to mumble, and as he does, Juniper has kind of rocked him. Everyone can kind of notice a change in the air, and maybe it's like a concentration thing. Maybe he's lost it, but it causes his snowmen to just kind of drop. They all just lose their connection to him momentarily. That psychic power running through him. And then you notice there were a few other snowmen there in the circle, but they like are just snowmen. There's a few of them that just aren't moving. And as this is happening, he kind of calls back to something. He starts to speak in some other language. And then you start to see that each one of those little goblins some of the chains that are jingling around from the mist above, they start to jump out. One of them jumps out of the window and grabs a chain right next to you, Bulma. If you want an opportunity of attack, you can.
Yeah, no, I'll go ahead.
Go ahead and give me that attack.
I'm just gonna do, well, I was just gonna do whatever. I was gonna do magic missile.
Oh, hey, I can't do that as an opportunity of attack. It would just be something basic like a strike or attack, dagger, fist, open, whatever you want to do.
I'll just go ahead and just
you know what? It's the end of the game. Give me a magic missile. Just give me a magic missile.
I do 11 points.
Okay, so he's climbing up, and you just these little rockets go up, and he starts to get through the mist, and then you're like for a second there as the snow is coming down, you're like, I missed him, and then you hear his body goes bow, it slams into the ground. As we move, and that was his opportunity attack. So now it was Tim's turn, Juniper. Now it's Bulma, and so it actually is your turn now. So I'll still give you that was just a freebie because the goblins were running away anyway. So
yeah. So what I was going to do anyways also was use magic missile to essentially cut the bag of humans out off his back, if possible.
You are pushing it on that one. Here's what I'll say is that will be an Arcana check because our magic missiles will go off, and it's going to be a pretty difficult DC. I won't give you the exact number, but it's above 20.
Okay.
So a nat 20 will be good here, or something high.
For the Arcana check?
That's your Arcana, yeah. And you know what? I'll give you advantage because it's a magic. You know, you're using your magic. Sure, let's do it.
All right. Oh no! I got a 1 and a 2. So.
No.
So your magic missiles go and they go flying out, and he kind of phase shifts. And for the first time, magic missile, some of them miss. One of them, what was the total damage? Some of them slam into him, and the others mistake as he's flinging Tim. Some of them mistake Tim as part of the target, and one of them rockets into Tim, just boom, and like hits him in the desk. So of the 3, what was the total of the damage?
So I got 2 4s and 1 1. So. Yep.
So I will give one of the 4s to Tim. You take one of the 4s, and he'll take 5.
Right in the arse.
His ass is smoking.
And then I just yell, "I'm sorry, I'm still working on it."
And the legs go.
And so he's out of legendary actions right now. So yeah, so you guys can continue on. Ufizzi, it's your turn.
All right. I am going to attempt to close the distance between us, and I'm going to attempt to use the glaive as like a pole vault stick to propel me up onto his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And as I do so, I want to land back facing his back. So I also want my cloak to fall over his face and blind him.
You're also looking for a very difficult check here, but I like it.
and then I want to take the glaive and just do like a downward, like a broom sweep, to try to cut the bag off of his back.
I want an acrobatics check and an athletics check right back to back.
All right.
And I'll grant you inspiration on only one of them. They both have to succeed, but I'll give you your inspiration on one of your choosing.
Okay. Well, the acrobatics is an 18.
So all that you described, you land. It's there.
And then the athletics, I'll use the inspiration. So that's a 15, and then what's the inspiration die?
You just get to roll again and take the highest result.
It's advantage. Okay.
It's advantage. Yep.
Well, so so that one's a 16. 16.
So while you can't cut the bag off, you slash, and there's an opening. And as there's an opening, you see like suddenly someone opens, like there's a slash in it, and someone else pulls it open from the back and starts trying to rip. And there's a young boy, he's around 12 years old, and he's like, "Come on!" And he reaches down into the bag and he pulls a little girl up, and he's like, "Come on!" And he goes, "Take her!" And then he pulls up a second one, and he's go, "Take them!" And then there's a boy, and he's able to have you grapple both of them. He's like, "I'll be fine on my own."
Whatever arms or whatever reaches up, I grab them and literally like throw them out of the bag into the snowbank.
Nice. And so the two kids land out into the snow. At this point, I'm gonna say you've done all you can do right now. Do you stay on him or do you jump off or do you stay where you're at? Ufizzi, as we move to.
Is my cloak covering his face?
The cloak. What was the roll you did for? Well, use it. Yeah. So the cloak it's covering his face and it's through the top of his horns. So now your cloak is hooked, and so you're actually hooked to.
I'm gonna stay. I'm there. I'm there.
All right, and so he's swinging you back and forth, and I just want a strength save.
Actually, I'm
I know last turn here, guys. We have to wrap it up.
Rage, so I have advantage on that. So that is I rolled a 2 and an 18, so that's a 23.
Okay, so you're able to hang in there. He can't get you off. As we swing the camera around, last major heroic things possible here. You see what's happening. You see that they've kind of got Krampus on the ropes after this a devastating psychic move by Juniper, and then these heroics by your teammates, both Tim and Ufizzi. Neni, you're up. What do you do?
Neni has been on this ridge watching all of that take place, and she's just going to like leap and propel herself off of that and try and like duck down between his feet and use her short sword up against the back of his knees, try and swipe both of them just to like debilitate or at least maim at least one leg.
All right.
Hopefully two.
Make sure
I
it
thought you
doesn't
were going
fall
for
on
something
top.
else under there. I was like,
He's large, she's small. I think she's at knee length.
So give me an attack, and if you hit his AC, of course he's going to take damage. But because what you're trying to do, for every 2 points over his AC that you score, I'm going to add some extras to it.
Slice him in the
Where?
ornaments.
All right. Okay. It's a 16.
Well, 16
That's right
hits.
at his AC, so nothing extra.
So nothing extra, but go ahead and give him that damage. He is still on the rope, so.
Do I technically sound sneaky?
You are getting your sneak attack because you got several people of your buddies all around him fighting, and yes, you are getting all of that. And his face is covered. He's whipping back and forth. He's so frustrated right now.
11 points.
All right.
Piercing, so probably not too
Nuisance, you
crazy.
pestilent do-gooders. And he's being worked at this point. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is Neni the last one? Yes, and he can't respond. So Neni, as you slice across it, like you cut him, and you actually bring him to his knee, and he's like eye level with you. And this is that last moment where he's not dead, but he definitely looks a bit distraught and frustrated with the situation. And as he's eyeing all of you, this is your chance to kind of like, I think Neni first, because you're looking him right in his eye, because from under where he's, the cloak that's over his face, you can still see up under there. Is there anything you tell him? Is there anything you say? Is there anything you do?
I probably can't attack, can I?
I would say, like, you could say I'm going to attack, and then we'll see how the scene plays out. But this is almost like, last actions here. What would you be trying to do?
Yeah, what I would attempt to do, if I can see his eyes and he's like level with me, is I would take my last 2 daggers out and try and stab him in his eyes.
So you just like leap up with your 2 daggers going up towards his eyes, because the camera's in slow motion. What is Bulma doing?
she's just watching this all happen and she's trying to get ready for her next attack, and it's not coming out.
Juniper.
So,
Juniper has taken out her flute again and is starting to do a rhythmic tune for the group for inspiration.
She's singing and everyone is inspired. Everyone's kind of moving with it. Tim and Ufizzi.
Tim, go ahead.
I'd just be kicking my feet up and just, hit him in the jingle balls. Trying to get out of the snowbank.
I'm gonna try to
keep him distracted with the cloak and like hold on to his antlers, and I say, "We'll take no more children this night."
He starts like talking in some other language, like it's, and actually, Teeth. If the Teeth, it would. Actually, I don't know if you know Abyssal.
I know Infernal.
Infernal. So yeah, he's talking in his Abyssal, and he seems like he's quoting something. And as he starts to glow, the sky gets really, really dark for a moment. Though the wind starts to pick up, that lightning thunder crashes again, and then there's a huge light, and he boom. And everybody slams against the ground, and he's gone. He just plain shifted out of there, got out of town, doesn't want any more of what you guys are selling. And as everything comes down, as everything dies down, kind of back to normal, or what you guys have probably never seen anything like this, if you call it even normal. And Boris slowly cracks the door and looks out and was like, all right, I told you not to interfere, but then again, he looks and sees the two children on the ground. He goes, then again, I guess you guys have reassured us that maybe we should have been fighting a little harder for what we believe in here in the town. And the two kids get up, and then the older boy was able to jump out, and he gets up, and he's kind of dressed like a rogue, and he's got a leather on, and he's, his hood is back. Oh God, I've been running from that guy since I was 8. I need a glass of milk. And he goes and like sits down on the stoop next to the Adventurers Guild. And so what does the party do? I have you like moments here to share, to ask questions, or do whatever as we slowly start to wrap things up. I'll turn it over to you all.
I come down and I meet with everybody. Kind of just don't really know what happened or how it, or where he went. And I looked at Boris, and Boris is out there. Is he?
Yeah, he's there. He's cracked the door and came out of there. And what did you? Yeah.
Just ask him I don't think he'll be. I look at him. I don't think he'll be coming back until next year. Just kidding.
Hopefully he doesn't. He probably will be now, but maybe you guys have helped us restored hope with a few groups like you. We could be ready for him every year. I think we could give him a good. Hopefully we can have this fight somewhere outside of town, or maybe just go directly to his place instead of bringing all the damage to the town. He like looks over at Juniper.
Perhaps this would teach you the lesson that you should not be such pussies.
And then suddenly Arden walks up and he goes, "This is all my fault." And he's a bit mature for his age. And long story short, he's over cookies and milk. He tells you about the fact that his brother, he's pretty much lived in another town that's farther from here, and that Krampus kind of visits all of these towns. And the year that he tried to get him was for some things that he got into with some other younger boys of the type, and he was marked. He was on his list. And he decided to leave home so that wouldn't continue to come back to him, because his little brother was always really good. And he's kind of had to fend for himself. He's kind of been stealing to survive. And they wear the goblin mask because he's noticed that year after year, it's kept him from Krampus from finding him. The night that they were robbing the baker, Krampus clearly has caught on to him, and the magical animated gingerbread cookies killed the baker. And then he just puts his hand across the table and goes, "Well, I'm ready for whatever punishment. I'm definitely guilty of some things, and I don't." And the sheriff kind of looks. The sheriff looks at you all, and he leaves it to you to decide Arden's fate.
Hey,
And
so
he
I
just
got a
holds up a
flute.
dagger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I think this boy has perhaps learned his lesson. After all, he was protecting his brother, and he was only stealing to survive. Do not think he deserves any more punishment than he's already gone through.
I'll do what I. Then I'm indebted to your service. Then you need me to join you, or I can start working around here to help where I can in the village. At your service, Arden. He's like, I'm a pretty good pickpocket. Pretty good.
Join.
And so as you kind of all laugh and sip your drinks, if there's any last things, I'll just gotta go around. Anyone wants to share before, and then we'll like slowly start to pull back and fade out. But is there anything else? Anything else?
Let's take tomorrow off. How about as Tim puts up his feet and just.
And as you actually say that, Tim, we actually fast forward as you all stayed there for the festival, and that the town is a little disheveled. Unfortunately, all the gifts were destroyed, but everyone knows that it's not, they all have each other. No one died, thankfully, other than the baker, unfortunately. And it's a new beginning. And they're all, quite happy. And you guys are kind of just enjoying that moment. And with that, we kind of like pull up as the snow is hitting the ground, and you guys are all enjoying this huge feast that's all happening outdoor in that little town. They've shoveled all the snow away and kind of put up some awnings and things like that, and kind of pan towards the sky and fade to black, and our credits start to roll on our holiday episode. Thank you all for playing. But as those credits roll, there's always the but. We pick up after those credits somewhere else, dark, in a very kind of beautiful, magical looking wood. And there's these beautiful, elegant animals. You wouldn't even call them deer, but they have like multiple antlers, and the antlers sparkle and glow. And it's beautiful, and the sky is bright here. And they're standing in the opening of a beautiful wood. Is a man in all white with a golden staff, and he's feeding one of the animals, a small little fawn. And you hear, and suddenly a figure appears and stands before him. He goes, "This is all your fault. The truth, we made a deal. No one is to interfere with do you want to start the war again, father?" And then slowly this man turns with a large white beard. He goes, "I saw. It looks like they got the best of you." And he goes, "You need to make it right, or I will bring a great fury on all of the North." He goes, "It is done." And then he waves his hand, and out of the woods, he goes, "Rudolph," and out walks this humanoid reindeer with a crossbow on his back and a sword, Frosty, and then kind of out hops this big snowman, burly and ready to fight, sword and shield in hand. And he goes, "Jack." And then this like elvish creature comes out all blue and made of ice. "We'll make it right. Let the hunt begin. Your adventurers are marked." And they go, and they all go running toward. So until next time.
Oh my god.
That's fantastic.
So good.
Good stuff. I'm glad.
Awesome.
So good. Thank you, Malcolm. That was
Thank
so
you, guys.
fun.
That was great.
So Krampus was actually was doing our work. Like he was finding the bad guys.
Kind of. So and also so the little girl that was saved, she starts fires, and the little boy is very cruel to animals.
What?
We're the bad guys.
I have one more attack round on those little bastards.
Bree, should I close out, or are we already off, or
We
you want to close out?
If you don't mind, just I'll do a quick little shout out. Once more, of course, thanks everyone for coming and watching. This has been so much fun, and thanks to our amazing players tonight. You guys have been so much fun to play alongside. And Malcolm, you're an awesome GM. Like, Gentleman and Game Master, you absolutely deserve that title. Quick shout out to our sponsors for the initiative order. So Session Zero Clothing, awesome RPG clothing. If you use TIO10 at checkout, you get 10% off your purchase. Next up, Norse Foundry, awesome artisan dice. If you use TIO15, you get 15% off your purchase. And then again, holiday surprise from Brian, being awesome. For RPG and Company, if you use TIO15 at checkout, you'll get 15% off. And last but not least, Roaming Player Gear by our very own Ray, aka GotDM. If you utilize the code Carnaby20 at checkout, you get 20% off your purchase. And anyways,
Awesome.
back to you, Malcolm.
No, I think that's all I got. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you all for playing. You guys were all great. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I in whatever ways, without going long story short, I admire all of you and was glad to finally have you at like this little virtual table. So thank you again. Gentleman Game Master, go ahead, follow me. We'll have some more adventures to come, and I can't wait to see who sits in the Adventurers Wanted seat next.
Fantastic.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Merry Christmas, happy
guys.
holidays, all that. Yeah.